Says, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you to what is a milestone. And you know, like we always say, without what you do in Lagos, Nigeria would not be what it is. So please, let's give ourselves a round of applause for putting Nigeria on the world map. And talking about Lagos, you know, Lagos is beautiful. There's one thing that is very important about Lagos, and I'm going to go around. We'll do this for about 3 minutes, then we get started. Have you ever thought about it, that Lagos is the only place in the Federal Republic of Nigeria that has a name, the name of a street or an area represented in all the 36 alphabets of the English language? Think about it. So what I'll do is I'll go around from table to table and try to find out what parts of Lagos you know. You know, where you were born or where you grew up or where you live determines the area you know. Abioga, you that you live in Banana Island, for instance, you can't know Ajegule. So let's start. Who wants to help me with A? A. Ajegule Bawu. I say pretend. A, please. A. Agege. I say I don't like Ajegule. You are mentioning Agege. What of Aja? B. Banana Island. God bless you. God will give you a plot of land there. You give it to me. C. Anybody? Ajangbadibahu. Costain. God bless you. That's safe. D. If I hear Dokpemu, you are going home. D, please. Dolphin. Who said dolphin? God bless you. E. No Egbeda. No Ekpe. Where? Eleganza, God bless you. Where? Elegushi, God bless you, sir. Do you have a plot of land there yet? I can talk to some people for you. Okay, what will happen is I'll give you my card. You call me, you send money to me, I buy for you. Okay, F, anybody? Falomo, Festac, although it's very far, but it's still. G. Madam, don't say Gowon Estate. Bagada. I don't know what it is with me and Bagada. All the consonants in that name always scare me. But Bagada is good. After G, we have H. If you get H correct, I might have a gift for you. Housing Right Estate. I. Sorry. Which table did I hear Ikorodu from? Is it this table? Please don't serve this table anything. Nothing. God bless you. Okay. That's supporting the economy. And Ikorodu is a beautiful city. But where do you live, sir? Ebute, that's where he lives. It's a good place. It's a lovely place. We all started from Ikorodu. But you see, the beauty and the Fourth Mainland Bridge is going to land in Ikorodu. And there's a port in Ikorodu. And Ikorodu is so beautiful. But you don't live in Ikorodu, okay? You live in Banana Island. So, after I, J. Jakonde, which part? This one or the one that is very far? K. If you say Kola, home. K. If you say K2, you are home already. K. Who said Kuramo there? Stop it, I like it. Okay, after K, we have L. Lekki. You cannot do Lekki, don't worry. Lekki. After L, we have M. Magodo. Mommy bless you. That's old money, Abi. Marokoko, Sanfield. Well, this one even said Makoko. Okay, N. Northern. Oh God, oh God. I know that's where you live. Northern Foreshore, Nikon Town. After N, what do you have? Oniru, Okpebi, P. Okokoko, Maikoni. Parkview, God bless you. Call where you want to live, oh. Call where you want to live. Q, Queen's Drive. You said Queen's College. Are you going back to school? R, Randall Avenue. That's where I was born, so I can say it's a good area. Randall. S, Surulere, lovely area. Shangi Shako, Shomoluri. T, Takwabe. Some people are on Google already. Mention where you want to live. Oh. Tinumbu Square. After T, what do you have? U, if you say under bridge, you are going home. If you say U-turn, you are turning back to go home. U, somebody please. Anybody? Unity Estate. Ah, that's far. It's in Shangisha. Where's your own Unity Estate? Ikorodu again. Hey, no. V, anybody? V. VGC. That's the what everybody will shout. VGC, Victoria Island. Okay. W, Western Avenue. Anybody? Don't say wow wow. X, anybody? What's what? Even there is no see me. What's me? Now, X, I'm going to wager you. Anybody that gets X correct will get 1 million. From me, 1 million. Anybody? X. You live in Ikorodu, true. X, anybody? You know where Xerox is in Mushi? You know Xerox, Abi? Why? Anybody, why? Left or right? And of course, if you get Z correct, you get 10 million. Z. Anybody? Z, sir. Z. Where? Zion Street. Where is that? Niger. You shall want to collect my 10 million. Anybody? Z. Where? Zion Estate. Where? Shashako. Where? I don't know. Z. Help me. Hello? Anybody going for 10 million? Going for 10 million? There's a school that has an Islamic name. You should know it. Zumratu, that man, you just want 10 million liters of water delivered. Where do you want your water delivered? We'll pump from here to your house. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, you're very welcome. Thank you very much for coming. God bless you.
Who won the 10 million liters of water? Who was it?
Very lucky guy.
Please make sure you hold him.
There's water everywhere now.
Not the organizers. Hold Benga Deinka.
He should bring his tanker to siphon the water. He will even be helping us because there's a place in this area we call Agungi. I didn't know the meaning of the name until it rained one day. And we realized that you have to Gungi, climb tree to survive the place.
Benga, that's 419. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Good afternoon to you all. We welcome you all, distinguished, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, to the Pearl Awards 30th Anniversary Corporate Summit. I am Yemisi Landry Ido.
Distinguished guests, esteemed CEOs, directors, captains of industry, your excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today is more than a ceremonial occasion. It is very, very, very historic. This afternoon, we gather not just to unveil a book, but to unveil a masterstroke, a curated work that chronicles the grit, guts, and genius that has shaped Nigeria's most successful corporations. A book that doesn't just tell stories, but teaches strategies. A publication titled Winning Strategies of Nigeria's Corporate Giants. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is not fiction. This is not theory. This is real. It is rooted in the Nigerian terrain. Raw, rugged, rewarding. It is a compass, a playbook, a guide, born out of decades of experience, built shoulders of real businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, the vision CEOs, founders, and fintech magnates who have braved the tides to build brands. It is for the offices, for boardrooms, it is for strategy sessions, it is for MBA classroom. I'm sure the regulatory all over Nigeria today are blessed to have a guide. I've been fortunate to go through it. This is why I'm saying all I'm saying. And you see what I'm talking about. You see that truly what we have come to is history in the making. I ask that you please put your hands together for the Pearl team for making this very, very possible. A round of applause for them.
All right, just before we go ahead, thank you, Benga, for that. Would like you to rise up for the national anthem as we welcome renowned artist Yinka Davies to give us the national anthem.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for one of the finest voices to have come out of Africa.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, sovereign motherland. Oh God, one request, help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so in peace and plenty Nigeria must be blessed.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. While we're standing,
God
please
bless
let's
Nigeria.
invite Edafe to give us Pearl Awards theme song. Edafe, thank you.
And if you can quickly say this before it starts, God bless Nigeria. And you too.
Please, let's have the sound, please. Sound people. Of the slave. Oh, in your works and contributions, you are the light of this nation. We give one like you recognition. You are the heartbeat, you are the bond which holds the world so strong. This spell of word is one short way to economic development. This spell of word is all about performance and excellence, and it is foolproof and competition that we have set a standard. Time is to reward excellence. Time is now to give pride a place. Time is now. Time is now. You are the heartbeat. You are the bond which hold the world so strong. Tough your hearts, cause the real leaders are here of our economy. Tough your hearts, cause the real leaders are here of our economy. Excellence is a universal language. Excellence is a business language. Tough your hearts, cause the real leaders are here. Excellence is the universal language. Excellence is a business language. Tough your hearts, cause the real leaders are here. Oh, time is now to reward excellence. Time is now to give pride a place. Time is now. Time is now. You are the heartbeat. You are the bond which hold the world so strong. You are the heartbeat. You are the bond which hold the world so strong. You are the heartbeat. You are the bond which hold the world so strong. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Duffy. You may be seated. Thank you very much. You are the heartbeat, you're the bond that holds everything together. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, permit us to welcome you to the Pearl 30th Anniversary Corporate Summit with the theme Built to Last, a roadmap for corporate Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start this morning by welcoming a man who will be 60 tomorrow. We call him Mr. Incident Commander. We call him Mr. Sellable, Mr. Immortal Rice Mill, Mr. Governor of the Center of Excellence and State of Aquatic Splendor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, who is represented by his Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho. Can I have a round of applause for him, please? I'd like to welcome our special guest of honor, a man that has given most of his adult life in service to our dear nation. He is the Chairman House Committee on Finance at the National Assembly of Nigeria, Honorable James Faleke, who is represented by his brother, High Chief Bolario Faleke. A round of applause for you, please. I'd like to welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Emomotimi Agama. A round of applause for Dr. Agama. Guest of honor, Chairman, Nigerian Exchange Group, a man that I've known since I was like that, doing great things to make our country great. Alhaji Dr. Umaru Kwairanga. A round of applause for him, please. I'd like to welcome a woman that became the poster girl for what every parent should pray that their daughter should be. She's the Group Managing Director, CEO of Zenith Bank PLC, Dame Dr. Mrs. Adaura Umelji, who is represented by Company Secretary of Zenith Bank PLC, Mr. Michael Otu. You're most welcome. Also here, ladies and gentlemen, is Executive Director, Investment Management at the Ministry of Finance, Incorporated, Dr. Femi Ogunseinde. A round of applause for him, please. the MD CEO, Mutual Benefit Assurance PLC, Mr. Olufemi Ashenuga. Can I have a round of applause for him, please? Founder, Chairman of Greenwich Merchant Bank, Dr. Kayode Falomo, ably represented by Mr. Adewale Adeniyi, the Chief Financial Officer. You're most welcome.
All right, Benga, let me join you in welcoming the board members of Pearl who have made this possible for 30 good years. Please give them a round of applause just before I begin. And let me start with Dr. Farouk Umar, President, Association of Advancement of Rights of Nigeria Shareholders. Thank you so much, sir.
Let me join her to welcome a mother's mother, a woman that has consistently proven that women truly are the backbone of any nation. Past President, Institute of Directors of Nigeria, the ever young, ever charming Chief Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi. A round of applause for her, please.
And also here present is one we all know. I'm sure you all know him as well. He's so good at what he does. And I'm talking about the Chief Consultant, B. Adedipe, and Associate Limited, Dr. Biodun Adedipe. Please give it up for him.
Let me welcome one of Nigeria's finest legal minds, one of Nigeria's finest administrators, President, Institute of Directors of Nigeria, Alhaji Tijani Borodo. Can I have a round of applause for him, please? Alhaji Tijani, you're most welcome.
And all right, someone I admire so much is also here. She's so knowledgeable, and we are glad to have her here. I'm talking about Mrs. Oluwatoyin Sani, the Chief Executive Officer, Emerging Africa Capital Group. Good morning, ma'am.
Let's also welcome another astute manager of men and resources, President, Association of Investment Advisors and Portfolio Managers, Prince Abimbola Olashore. A round of applause for him, please. Also permit me to welcome, ladies and gentlemen, a builder, a thinker, a relentless perfectionist. We're supposed to welcome him last, but I just thought, why do that all the time? He's a man of vision, a man of ideas. He is a man that drives and continues to drive. He's the president, CEO of the Pearl Awards, Nigeria, and chairman, CITC Group, the indefatigable Mr. Tayo Orekoya. A round of applause for him, please.
And please, let's make welcome someone we are also very proud of, right? Who is he?
Ladies and gentlemen, a man that needs no introduction.
Yes.
Past chairman, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, a Mazi worth his weight in gold. Mazi Sam Ohaboa. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Also here with us, ladies and gentlemen, is the Group Chief Commercial Officer at Dangote Industries Limited, Mr. Rabiu Abdullahi Umar. A round of applause for him, please. We're blessed with the presence, and I'm sure if he's not here, he'll be here in a few minutes.
Soon.
One of Nigeria's finest economic minds, founder, CEO, ProShare Nigeria Limited, Mr. Olufemi Awoyemi. A round of applause for him, please. Let's also welcome board secretary and head, a man who I'm sure loses weight every time we have these events because he's always running up and down, giving us names and crossing the T's and dotting the I, Mr. Lekon Adekoya. A round of applause for him, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to crave your indulgence to please allow us take a break from recognition now. As the day progresses, we'll recognize more and more people.
Yes, in a minute.
But what are we here to do? Like I said earlier, it's not just a ceremony, it's history in the making. Today, I'm glad to let you know that schools, universities, public libraries, NYSC camps, and Entrepreneurship Hub have a book that they can call the roadmap they've been waiting for to make it in corporate Nigeria. This book is a national asset, not just a publication. It's a platform, not just content, but a catalyst. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we are not just asking for support. We are inviting you to be part of a movement, one that Nigerians can truly say helped in building great nations and great institutions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please plan to rise to the occasion. Let's not only launch this book with sizable sums, let's launch it and let it have an impact. On that note, ladies and gentlemen.
Just before you go on that note, by the way, we also have students in our midst, students from Lagos State University, students from University of Lagos, as well as Yaba Tech. They are here to learn. Please, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much.
You know, growing up, the way you people greeted yourself in the universities is not how they greet themselves anymore now, I'm sorry to say. If you went to Unilag in those days, it's greatest Nakokite. If you went to UI, if you went to Ife, it was great Ife. If you went to UI, it was greatest Uite. Only one of them. If you're a Malabite, it was greatest Malabite. If you're a lion, you know how you greet. But now a lot has changed. That's why 4-year courses are becoming 9 years, 10-year courses. The way they greet, and I know students are here, they will join me. Greatest Gbogbo. Greatest Gbigbi. Greatest Gbagba. Of the Gbigbi. Of the Gbagba. Of the Gbogbo. There's no way a Gbogboa and Gbagba will not be involved in riots. It's not possible.
But Benga, that's why they are here, to learn from the giants and not Bigbi.
Yes, sir.
And not Gbagba.
And so on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's drink from the well of knowledge. Let's have the welcome address by our chief host, the chairman, Pearl Awards Board of Governors, Chief Dr. Farouk Umar. A round of applause for him, please. Please, let's make it louder. Let's make it louder. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
Our special guest of honor, Honorable James Abiodun Paleke, ably represented by his brother, our regulator, the DG of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Agama, my chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Limited Group, Dr. Umar Kweranga, the Sarkim Fulani, the CEO of Pearl Awards, Mr. Orokoya, the board members of Pearl Awards, and all invited guests. I would like to welcome all of you to this our launching of a book. We are 30 years today, and we are happy that the management and the board of Pearl Awards has done very well for us in bringing the quality and caliber of industries in the capital market. I would not like to take much of your time. I hope we will have a successful launching. And I thank all the industry captains that have supported us in the past and today, especially the book presenter, the CEO of Venice Bank, that has been very supportive like other institutions. We are very grateful. So I wish us a successful occasion, and I also want to thank all the speakers who have agreed to participate in this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for the round of applause, but I know you can make it louder. I know. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome a first-class banker, thoroughbred professional, cerebral ornament of corporate Nigeria, as well as a quintessential professional. I ask you to please give him a round of applause, because every year he consistently supports one of my projects. Please, if your hands are not too busy, let's welcome the head honcho at Address Homes Africa, Mr. Stephen Olabisi Onosoya, FCA. A round of applause for him, please. I also ask that you please welcome the Managing Director of Nemeth International, Pharmacist Valentine Okelu. A round of applause for Pharmacist Valentine. You're most welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we keep this moving, and I'd like to welcome someone that is revered in grassroots politics as far as Lagos and Ikeja is concerned. This man is the Atunluche of Ikeja land, amongst others. The former Okay, before I introduce him, let me quickly welcome someone that is of extreme importance to us, ever smiling, does not suffer fools gladly, but is a great Nigerian in all ramifications. CEO, Central Securities Clearing System, the irrepressible Haruna Jallo Waziri. A round of applause for him, please. Every time he smiles, my mind tells me he wants to give me 5 billion naira. I don't know if my mind is lying to me or if he wants to increase my stock. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Atunluche is our guest of honor, but because today is the day that the House of Reps is meeting for the first time officially, he has deemed it fit to send his brother to represent him. If your hands are not too busy, please let's welcome Honorable James Abiodun Falike, represented by his brother, Chief Bolarin Falike. A round of applause for him.
Thank you. Yeah, as I said, he's held back by some national engagements at the Three Arms Zone. And he said he tried to get somebody quite important to represent him, but in the absence of that, you should manage what he got, which is me. Yeah. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, represented by the Honorable Commissioner, Dr. Timi Agama, Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, Alhaji Umaru Kwairanga, Chairman, Nigeria Exchange Group, the Chairman, Pearl Awards Nigeria, Dr. Umar Farouk, the President, Chief Executive, Pearl Awards Nigeria, Mr. Tayo Orekoya, distinguished members, Pearl Awards Board of Governors, past board members of Pearl Award Nigeria, Chairman, Chief Executives, Directors, and top management staff of quoted and unquoted companies, distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is a special honor and personal privilege to stand before you today as the special guest of honor at this remarkable occasion, the 30th anniversary of the Pearl Awards Nigeria and its corporate summit themed Built to Last, a roadmap for corporate Nigeria. Let me begin by expressing my warmest congratulations to the board, management, and entire team at Pearl Awards Nigeria for 3 decades of consistent excellence, commitment to corporate transparency, and your tireless effort in recognizing and rewarding performance in Nigeria's capital market. 30 years is no small feat, especially in the Nigerian operating environment. It is a testament to vision, tenacity, and purpose. You have not only celebrated corporate excellence, you have in many ways helped shape it. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this summit could not have been more apt. Build to last, a roadmap for corporate Nigeria. This is deeply reflective and forward-looking, a forward-looking call to action. It compels us to ask, what does it truly mean for an institution to be built to last in the Nigerian environment? What kind of corporate values, systems, governance structures, and leadership mindsets are required for sustainability in an economy that is both promising and turbulent? In today's world, building a business that survives beyond its founders, beyond immediate profits, and beyond market cycles is the true measure of success. Short-term wins are no longer enough. What we need now, more than ever, are institutions with deep roots, rooted in governance, culture, innovation, and long-term strategy. Let us be clear. Nigeria's economic future depends not just on government policy or public infrastructure, but significantly on the strength and stability of its corporate sector. For emphasis, I want to repeat this. Nigeria's economic future depends not just on government policy or public infrastructure, but significantly on the strength and stability of its corporate sector. Corporate Nigeria employs our youth, pays our taxes, funds innovation, drives exports, and supports communities through CSR and social impact investments. In every sense, our companies are the backbone of national development. Yet, many promising businesses still collapse at the first sign of policy instability or leadership transition. Too few companies have successfully transitioned from founder-led ventures to truly institutionalized entities. Succession planning remains very weak. Corporate governance is often treated as an afterthought rather than strategic necessity. This summit, therefore, must be more than a conversation. It must be a defining moment, a roadmap for sustainability, corporate evolution. As chairman of the House Committee on Finance, I wish to assure you that we in the National Assembly recognize our role in building a stable, predictable, and enabling fiscal environment for business to thrive. We are committed to deepening legislative reforms that promote, 1, fiscal sustainability and transparency. 2, simplified, fair, and growth-friendly tax structure. 3, incentives for long-term investment. 4, great ease of doing business. 5, stronger corporate governance practices through updated regulatory frameworks, etc. We understand that for our companies to thrive and endure, Our institutions, legislative, judicial, and regulatory, must also be built to last. That is why we are engaging stakeholders to ensure that reforms are not just designed to paper, but implemented with clarity and consistency. Let me also state that we are paying attention to corporate feedback on recent finance and tax reforms. Your voice matters, and we are working to ensure that policies stimulate rather than stifle productivity. As we engage into these discussions, I encourage all leaders present to take an honest look inward. How prepared is your institution for the next decade? What values will drive your organization the next 50 years? What legacy will your board, your management, your strategy leave behind? Permit me to commend the Pearl Awards for raising the bar in corporate performance assessment. Your commitment to objective, empirically driven criteria based on actual stock market and financial data has contributed immensely to investor confidence and capital market integrity. You have proven that excellence is measurable and transparency can be celebrated. I also acknowledge the public presentation of your new publication, Winning Strategies of Nigerian Corporate Giants, which I believe will serve as a resource for entrepreneurs, policymakers, and business scholars alike. We must begin to document what works, not just what failed, so that future generations can learn from and build on our collective success stories. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I leave us with a thought. Great nations are built not only by government, but by institutions, private and public, that are built to last. The Pearl Awards Nigeria has stood the test of time. Let us ensure that corporate Nigeria does the same. Let us lead with vision, govern with integrity, innovate with courage, and build for legacy, not just for today, but for generations yet unborn. Thank you once again for the honor of this invitation. I look forward to learning from today's summit and contributing to the roadmap ahead. God bless you, and God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Please give it up, give it up, give it up. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. The representative of Chairman, House Committee on Finance, Honorable James Falege, Mr. Bolarinwa Falege. Please, let's give him once again a round of applause. Thank you. I learned so much from what you have said. And the economy of Nigeria can only rely on the corporate sector, but then they can't do it all alone. That's it. They can't do it all alone. Thank you so much, sir. All right, just before I bring up the next person to give his welcome address, permit me to welcome the representative of Dr. Akin Ogunbiyi, the Group Chairman, Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC, Mr. Biyi Ashiru Balogun, the MD Chief Executive Officer, Mutual Benefits Life Assurance Limited. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. All right, we're moving on. Right now, let me welcome someone that is so meticulous. And for 30 years, we are here. He's the one that's also put this together alongside the board members. And we're so proud of him. So permit me to welcome the President, Chief Executive Officer, Pearl Awards Nigeria, Mr. Tayo Orekoya, for his welcome address.
Actually, this is not a welcome address. My chairman has already done that. It's just brief remarks on Pearl Awards at 30. The representative of the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, our own Honorable Commissioner for Information, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho. You're welcome, sir. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol as already established due to time. And so I'd like to say, I cannot but recognize the special guest of honor, Honorable James Abiodun Faleke. He was supposed to be here until the very last minute, but the House of Representatives is reconvening today in Abuja. So he was gracious enough to send his brother, Chief Bolare Faleke. Thank you so very much, sir, and for that wonderful speech. Can we please give him another round of applause? Thank you so very much. The Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, our Chief Regulator, the one and only Dr. Emomotimi Agama, you are very much welcome, sir. Thank you so very much. Please let me kindly appreciate them. The Chairman, Nigerian Exchange Group, Alhaji Umar Kwaranga, he calls me a name I cherish. He calls me my life brother. Please give him a wonderful round of applause. You are so welcome, sir. Please just permit me to recognize my chairman, a wonderful man who's been extremely supportive of this vision. He was there right from the beginning, 30 years ago, as a member of the board. Today, he's the chairman of the board, the one and only Chief Dr. Umar Farouk. Please appreciate him for us. Thank you so very much, Chairman. God bless you. Our distinguished members of the Pearl House Board of Governors, please kindly permit me to stand on other existing protocol. It is with immense gratitude to God and a deep sense of fulfillment that I humbly stand before you at this landmark occasion. The Pearl Awards 30th Anniversary Corporate Summit, with the theme, Built to Last, a roadmap for corporate Nigeria. Today, we also celebrate the public presentation of our commemorative publication, Winning Strategies of Nigeria's Corporate Giants, a documentation of remarkable success, stories, and enduring corporate values that have stood the test of time in our nation's business landscape. 30 years ago, the Pearl Awards was born out of a bold and audacious vision, a vision to recognize and reward excellence, transparency, and integrity in the Nigerian capital market, a vision to promote sound corporate governance and performance-based competition among quoted companies. It was a vision that some considered overtly ambitious and even idealistic at that time. But here we are today, 3 decades later, stronger, solid, more relevant, and ever more committed to our founding ideals. Our journey has not been without challenges, from market uncertainties to macroeconomic shocks, regulatory transitions, and even moments when the very relevance of awards and recognitions was doubted. Yet through it all, the Pearl Awards remained resolute, resilient, and responsive, adapting to changes, evolving with the times, staying true to our mission. And that is why today's summit is not just a celebration of years. It is a celebration of purpose, of tenacity, and of impact. A key pillar of this 30-year journey has been our board of governors, a body of distinguished Nigerians comprising first-class professionals from across various callings: regulatory, industry, investor umbrella association, institute of directors, and more. Their unwavering support, strategic foresight, and uncompromising integrity have served as a compass for this institution. Please help me appreciate the members of our board. From inception to date, our board have been the moral and intellectual backbone of the Pearl Awards, guiding policies, upholding standards, and ensuring credibility remains our greatest currency. Over the past 3 decades, the Pearl Awards dream has been kept alive by the successive teams of committed, zealous, and who Central Working Committee of the award ratings, the shareholders associations, who amplify investor associations, who amplify investor voices and hold the market accountable. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this summit, Built to Last, is not a coincidence.
For his service with a louder round of applause. God bless you. Thank you very, very, very much. I'd like to welcome the Managing Director, who is represented by his Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy. You know, only great people are called Benga, Mr. Benga or Motosho. Can I have a round of applause for him, please? Ladies and gentlemen, Governor of Lagos State.
Good afternoon, all. And thank you for that effusive introduction. Please permit me to just stand on the existing protocol. I assure you it's not going to break because my weight is very light. Then, well, when I was asked to come here today, Mr. Governor, my boss, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, said he would have loved to be here. But today is a very special day for our party in Lagos. We are having a very important stakeholders meeting because of the coming local government elections. And he is the chairman of that ceremony. There is no way he can come here and then at the same time be in that place. So he said, I should come here to represent him. For me, what we are doing here today is a very special occasion. Pearl Awards been around for 30 years. That is no joke. In Lagos State, in the administration of Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, there are some values that we do not joke with. Resilience, courage, energy, tenacity of purpose. These are values that we admire so much. And I am sure that the organizers and promoters of Pearl Awards, these are the things that have been keeping them going for 30 years. I think they deserve a round of applause. So for me, today, the lesson of what we are doing is for all of us to see our country, Nigeria, as a place that is growing and we keep growing. And with corporate organizations that are purposeful, that are resilient, energetic, courageous, I am sure Nigeria is going to make it. If Nigeria makes it, I am damn sure we are going to make it. Corporate Nigeria will be playing a very big role in this. The world will see that all of the things that the black man is supposed to be doing, it is said that because of the population of Nigeria, we are over 200 million people, that of every 10 black people anywhere in the world, that 6 are Nigerians. So Nigeria has a responsibility to ensure that we make it economically, socially, and that we contribute our own quota to the development of humanity. And I know that if we must get to all these goals, the SDGs and all of that, corporate Nigeria will be playing a very big role in this. And when it is said, as part of the history later, that corporate Nigeria has done well, I am sure the organizers and promoters of Pearl Awards are going to be part of the people who will be mentioned. And on this note, I would like to say, as we say in Lagos, we do not say welcome, we say this is Lagos. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, sir. Please give it up for Mr. Omotosho. Welcome to Lagos. Thank you so much for that short speech. Without wasting much time, let's welcome the MD Academy Press, Mr. Olugbenga Oladipo. Please make welcome, Mr. Olugbenga Oladipo. Thank you so much for being here. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. We have to listen to the regulatory body here in our midst. And please permit me to welcome the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, for his goodwill message. Please give it up for him as he climbs the stage. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, thank you so much for having me here this morning, or rather now, afternoon. It is indeed a great pleasure that I'm here, and I want to, will I sit on an existing protocol since everybody has been standing? So I think I should take a different posture by sitting on the protocols. But besides that, I want to welcome everybody to this very, very important event. It's important because right within it is encapsulated the major issue of the time, which is the capital market. Or beyond the capital market, it's also the issue of good corporate governance. The SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has over time been challenged with the issues of corporate governance. Why? Because we are supposed to be the harbingers of that very important aspect of our national living. But the more important part of it all is that Pearl Awards has been here for over 30 years now by celebration. And the SEC has been part of it. You know, I went through the archives and I saw a lot of write-ups, a lot of support that the SEC had given to this award. In fact, the second Director General of the SEC, in the person of Chief Wole Adetunji, called me specifically because of this event. And I couldn't but, honor him, honor a man of great, integrity and foresight. And so I'm here this afternoon, to share my thoughts. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and pioneers of corporate Nigeria. It is with profound honor that I extend warm greetings from the Securities and Exchange Commission to this landmark 30th anniversary corporate summit of the Pearl Awards. We gather today under a theme that resonates deeply with our collective aspirations, built to last, roadmap for corporate Nigeria. This summit represents a critical juncture for introspection, innovation, and collaboration as we chart a sustainable future for Nigeria's corporate landscape. Nigeria's history is marked by resilience, yet we must confront an undeniable truth. Few indigenous enterprises survive beyond a generation, and even fewer reach the century milestone. As Mr. Tayo Rekoya, CEO of the Pearl Awards, rightly noted, many enduring institutions were founded by foreign entities. This reality underscores an urgent need for homegrown strategies that foster organizational longevity, operational excellence, and legacy building. The SEC stands committed to enabling this transformation through adaptive regulation, investor protection, market integrity, the cornerstones of sustainable growth. In recent years, global regulatory bodies, including Nigeria's SEC, have recalibrated their approaches to balance oversight with innovation. We recognize that excessive rigidity stifles growth, while strategic flexibility cultivates resilience. The key initiatives driving our vision include crypto asset regulation, learning from global peers, like the US SEC Crypto Task Force, we are developing clear framework to integrate digital assets into Nigeria's capital markets. This ensures investor safety without compromising innovation. Streamlined disclosure regimes. We prioritize financial materiality over peripheral mandates, avoiding the pitfalls of regulatory overreach, exemplified by failed policies like the US conflict minerals rule, which impose costs without achieving social objectives. Social engagement, inspired by Brunel's Global Good Governance Standards, we champion transparency through roundtables and industry dialogues, ensuring regulations reflect market realities. Drawing from global best practice and Nigeria's unique context, we propose 5 pillars for enduring enterprises. Corporate governance must transcend compliance to embody ethical leadership. The SEX Philippines 3G Championship Award in ESG practice demonstrates how governance fuels trust and competitiveness. Nigerian firms should, therefore, implement board diversity and independent oversight, align executive incentives with long-term stakeholder value, not short-term gains. However, ESG is no longer optional even in this case. It is a strategic imperative. Companies and all over the place exemplify sustainability, drives resilience, and our roadmap urges climate risk integration into financial disclosure, circular economic models, mirroring Goodwill Sustainable Championship Awards, who balance social impact, environmental stewardship, and profitability. I just returned from China, where we attended the International Conference on Sustainability, speaking to the ISSB standards and putting Nigeria on the map. Need I to say that Nigeria was actually one of the first countries that acceded to the disclosure standards in IFRS 1 and 2, and we are pushing on that front. So, from blockchain to AI, technological agility separates leaders from laggards. The SEC supports fintech collaborations to demonstrate capital access, cybersecurity protocols to safeguard market integrity. It is important that enduring firms prioritize employees, communities, and shareholders alike. The collapse of entities like the FX underscores the perils of neglecting stakeholder trust. We advocate, therefore, robust community engagement programs, employee ownership models to foster loyalty. The SEC pledges deeper collaboration with market participants. We are actually reviewing listing rules to facilitating SME access to capital. And therefore, we have established an Office for Small Business Advocacy at the SEC to promote justice, establishing the Nigerian FinTech Hub to guide emerging technologies. What do we want to do? We want to call to action. As we celebrate 30 years of Pearl Awards, a beacon of corporate excellence endorsed by the SEC since 2003, let us rekindle our shared commitment to building institutions that outlive us. The SEC, indeed, will soon convene the industry working groups to crystallize these pillars into sustainable action policies. It is therefore important that as regulators of this market and as the custodian of the principles of corporate governance within the capital market framework, we will always support anything that is good, making sure that the future indeed is not only pregnant, the future delivers a bouncing baby that will grow even into an oak. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Committed to everything that is good that will lead to a sustainable future for us. Can I have a round of applause for Dr. Emomotimi Agama? Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, is the chairman, Nigerian Exchange Group, also for a goodwill message, Chief Dr. Umaru Kwairanga. A round of applause for him, please. After this, we'll move on to the keynote address. Then we'll have the session. Thank you very much for coming, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, the MC. when the executive governor decided to stand on existing protocol, and the DG decided to sit on existing protocol, where should I sit? So good afternoon, distinguished guests, captains of industry, stakeholders of our capital market, and members of the press. Before I start on existing protocol, I must recognize my DG, who just spoke earlier than me, Dr. Ebomotime Agama, who we now call the digital DG in the Nigerian capital market. Dr. Farouk Umar, the chairman, Dr. Tayo, the founder, and the rich governing board members of Pearl Awards, which I'm proud of. When I look at the caliber of the people on the board of governors of Pearl Awards, from Mazi, Mr. Olashore, Alaji Borodo, Rabiu, Mrs. Eniola Fadomi, Toyin San. If I continue, you can see that's why they have achieved what they have achieved in the last 30 years. So it's not a surprise to us. It is a great pleasure to be present and to deliver this goodwill message on behalf of the board management of Nigerian Exchange Group at this year's Pearl Awards Corporate Summit, which forms part of the 30th anniversary and celebration of a pioneering institution that has remained unwavering in its commitment to recognizing and promoting excellence within Nigeria's corporate sector. Over the past 3 decades, the Pearl Awards have evolved into a reverse symbol of integrity, performance, and good corporate governance in our business landscape. As we gather here today, we not only celebrate this legacy, but reaffirm our shared commitment to fostering a capital market ecosystem that rewards value creation and sustainability. The theme for this year's summit, Built to Last, a roadmap for corporate Nigeria, could not be more apt. In today's interconnected and fast-changing world, the need to establish institutions that are resilient, inclusive, and adaptable has become a national imperative. At NGS Group, we believe that the foundation of a strong capital market lies in building institutions that not only endure but lead. I can say with confidence that the Pearl Award is already showing in practical terms the roadmap on how to build to last. That roadmap includes having a great idea, bringing the idea to life through excellent execution, building strong structures and nurturing people to perform to their optimal levels, maintaining high standards and interest in your product or service year after year, and diversifying at the appropriate time. With such practices and others that our experienced speakers and panelists will impart to us today, I'm confident that we can build sustainable and strong corporations and brands in Nigeria that will outlive their founders and conquer not only Africa, but the world. As a key enabler of capital formation in Nigeria, the NGS Group continues to create platforms that support enterprises, whether startup or large corporations, in raising long-term capital to fuel innovation, scale operations, and drive economic development. Through both our primary and secondary market activities, we offer businesses a trusted platform for wealth creation, governance enhancement, and strategic growth. We also recognize the vital role that Nigerian private sector plays in shaping our economic trajectory, from job creation to innovation and resilience in the face of global and domestic challenges. The contributions of our corporates remain a cornerstone of national development. It is our shared responsibility to ensure that these enterprises are supported by policies, platforms, and partnerships that position them for success in a competitive global economy. At NGS Group, we are proud to work hand in hand with the federal government through the Securities and Exchange Commission and other stakeholders in advancing market reforms and policies that enhance investor protection, deepen liquidity, and expand access to finance. Collaboration is at the core of building a capital market that works for all, from multinationals to SMEs and from domestic to international investors. Furthermore, we must acknowledge that sustainable business practices are no longer optional. They are essential. Institutions that embrace environmental, social, and governance standards, ESG, are those that will thrive in the long term. At NGS Group, we continue to drive awareness and adoption of sustainability reporting frameworks that align with global standards and prepare our companies for global capital flows. As we reflect on 30 years of impact by Pearl Awards, we must also look to the future. The sustainability of corporate Nigeria lies in the quality of its leadership and its willingness to evolve. But more importantly, it lies in our investment in people, especially our youth, whose energy, creativity, and digital-first mindset will define the next generation of enterprises and capital market innovation. Let us therefore see today's summit not just as a commemoration, but as a clarion call to co-create the next chapter of corporate Nigeria, one that is bold, inclusive, and built to lead. Let us build institutions that serve not just the present, but generations to come. Also, for unveiling of a book on the winning strategies of Nigerian corporate giants, which I know will serve as a guide to up-and-coming entrepreneurs and corporate executives, we congratulate the Pearl Awards governing board and especially the founder. So on behalf of the board, management, and staff of NGO Group, I congratulate the Pearl Award in this remarkable milestone. Your steadfast commitment to recognizing and rewarding corporate performance continues to enrich our market and inspire excellence across the board. Sustaining an event such as Pearl Award for 30 years at the highest level with the appropriate caliber of participants and good organizations shows that the founder of this award, Mr. Tayo Oroikeo, the board of governors and management and staff have built an institution that will be sustained and stand as a testament to their vision and hard work long after they are gone. We look forward to deeper collaboration in the years ahead as we jointly pursue the goals of sustainable economic growth, innovation, and institutional resilience. Thank you, and I wish you all fruitful deliberations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Koranga. Thank you so much. I so enjoyed the way you were so bullish with your words and the body language. So it just tells me that the market is going to end on a bullish note today. Right, Doctor? All right, please let's give him up another round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. So yes, it is time for us to take a learning. It is time for us to talk about why we are here. It is time to listen to the keynote address on the theme for today's gathering, Build to Last, what it takes to build, to be built to last, a roadmap for corporate Nigeria. And who better to give us that keynote address than Dr. Biodun Adedipe. Please make welcome Dr. Biodun Adedipe as he takes the keynote address on the theme, Built to Last. His presentation. Thank you so much, sir.
The chairman of the board of governors of Pearl Awards, distinguished members of the board of governors, the special guests, my fellow, let me say, professional colleagues that will be dissecting the theme of this special corporate summit. Let me then stand on the existing protocol. I won't sit on it because I'm standing. So, and I want to start by warmly facilitating the founder and president, Mr. Tayo Oroikeo, FCA, and members of the Board of Governors of the Pearl Awards, Nigeria and Africa, on this auspicious occasion of the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the awards, and several notable, and I underscore that, milestones and epochs since it was launched in May 1995. I'm happy to also mention that I've enjoyed the privilege of being a part of the project since inception. And I thank you for that, Mr. Orekoya. Even more exciting for me is to give this keynote address at this special corporate summit that commemorates the 30th anniversary, along with the array of leading business founders, and I want us to underscore that, entrepreneurs, and top professionals as discussants. Now, starting out to reward companies on the Nigerian exchange, then known as Nigerian Stock Exchange, for exceptional operational and stock market performance. Pearl Awards has also incorporated corporate governance into the evaluation criteria. Altogether, the awards point corporate Nigeria in the direction of what matters and could be a basis for sustainability. It is gratifying to also note that all the past winners of the awards are still going strong. It's important to note that. Thank you so very much. So, which also speaks to the essence of Pearl Awards as not only being transparent in the evaluation process, but also in the selection of the winners, that these indeed are entities that have not only run with performance focus, but also run in terms of good corporate governance practices. Now, that said, I want to also say this, that perhaps more importantly is to underscore the multidimensional essence of this gathering today, which is to energize corporate leaders, emerging entrepreneurs, and stakeholders to pursue innovative, resilient, and sustainable practices to assure an enduring future. We can talk about 30 years of Pearl Awards today because Pearl Awards still is. Now, this also is an opportunity to provide a comprehensive built-to-last framework for not only Nigerian businesses, but African businesses. And most importantly, establish grounds for significant corporate contributions to Nigeria and Africa's economic development. So let me again thank you, Pearl Awards, and congratulate you on what has been achieved. That done, let me lay a background to this conversation today. The discourse is about how corporate Nigeria can build resilience into their systems and evolve into sustainable multi-generation entities that impact economic development in and beyond the country. Typically, an entrepreneur starts off with a vision that his or her company is a solution to a present societal problem. That's the general pattern. With a conviction that the entrepreneur can solve the problem better than others, solve the problem faster than others, solve the problem more creatively than others. Which, of course, reminds me of a statement credited to the founder of IBM. A statement made in 1911. And think about that. That's Tom Watson. He said, think to solve the problems of the world. That was the foundation of IBM, laid in 1911. But some entrepreneurs, and not so many, venture beyond the present and envision that their companies can also solve future societal problems as well. But commonly, companies remain relevant and rewarding while the visionary is alive for two reasons. Number one, the energy the founder puts into the venture. Then the second one is the emotional attachment to the vision. Some, however, collapse for several reasons that range from external factors to poor judgment and, in fact, poor choices by the entrepreneur or by those employed to run or work for the companies. But the real challenge is long-term corporate sustainability. And this starts from the fact that most entrepreneurs hardly at inception think forward 100 years. And I will tell you a short story on that shortly. Companies, therefore, are in two categories from my perspective in dimensioning sustainability. Number one, those envisioned from inception to last beyond the promoters. And then those that accidentally or incidentally live beyond the promoters. Now, whether planned or accidental, organizations that have been in operation beyond 100 years tend to generally have or have earned the respect of their core stakeholders, analysts, and the general public. They have certain attributes that are lessons for aspirants. So now, looking at corporate Nigeria and sustainability, I will take first from an observation of what happened in the US with S&P, 500 index. In 2020, D. Clark did a survey of the S&P 500 index and discovered that in 21 years, that is, companies that were still on the board survived on the average for only 21 years. And also that it was 32 years way back in 1965, which means companies on that board that had existed for a long period of time were only 21 as of 5 years ago. But in 1965, they were 32 in number. Now I said, let me also take a cue and look at Nigeria. I began my doctoral research in July 1982. And my research was focused on how companies in Nigeria are financed. So it was on capital structure. So the primary data I used was drawn from the companies listed on what they called then the Nigerian Stock Exchange in 1984. Only 42 companies were listed in 1984 on the stock exchange in Nigeria. Only 42. So now, for the purpose of this conversation, I looked at the stocks listed today and asked myself, how many of them are still in operation? Because 1984 to 2025 is quite some distance. All right? So, and I discovered that, and this is good for us, 26 of those companies have survived and remain listed on the NGX board as of today. But that is 62%, which is quite strong, by the way. But out of the 26 companies listed in 1984 and today that have survived, only one is of Nigerian origin. The rest of them are foreign. So that means if we now sit back and ask ourselves, between 1985 and year 2000, companies that were in existence then and are still in operation today, there should be some lessons we can draw from them. So there are not so many Nigerian companies that have lasted over 100 years in operation. Very few. When I researched that and did a count, I found only 6. Only 6 Nigerian entities have operated for over 100 years. Now the big question is, why is it so? We can also ask the corollary of a question, why not? So where I started from is, why Nigerian companies don't last. Our research done alerted a number of factors, but I shortlisted them to 8. Number 1, poor business planning and execution. And I think in the goodwill messages we had earlier on, there was a reference to planning and execution. But how does that go? That also includes unclear vision for some of them, and then what I would describe as mission drift, which you started with a definition of your core business, but because of time, because of the lure that people are making money in some other sectors or spheres, so you drift away from your mission, and of course eventually that vision dies. Secondly, inadequate capital and poor financial management. Now what we have discovered, in fact, in my research in the early 80s, when we began looking at how companies are funded, we also did a part of my research then on corporate failure. I said, why do companies fail? Is it only about lack of access to funding, or a defect in the funding structure, the capital structure as we call it, or perhaps there are some other reasons? Now, one of the key things, and this also applies to most of our SMEs, not just in Nigeria, but globally, that fail. It is not because they don't have access to money, it's because of poor financial management. So what we find there then is that there is a deficient in capacity to manage the resources available to them. Then, of course, what I term innovation deficit. There's a book published, I think, in the last 1 to 2 months on Microsoft in the last 50 years. But the central issue in Microsoft, that book, is innovation. In fact, that's the title of the book. Innovation, the central theme for Microsoft in the last 50 years. So now, many companies that fail, it is because of what I call innovation deficit. There's also poor customer profiling, value delivery and management, what I term as a disrespect for customers. All right? There's also poor corporate governance. We all know that today. Happily, the president of the Charter of Directors of Nigeria is here, the #1 promoter of good corporate governance. Now, what that means also is a lot of them are into what I call weak self-policing. Corporate governance is self-policing, but most of them are weak in that. And of course, poor handling of people risks. And there are 3 dimensions to people risks in Nigeria today. It's happening all over the world anyway. We talk about the Jackpot syndrome in Nigeria. Oftentimes we think it's only about Nigeria. It's all over the world. About this time last year, the jackpot trouble in the US was most of their middle-level professionals were migrating to Australia. That was the headache for US about this time last year on jackpot. So it's not a Nigerian phenomenon. Of course, you go to UK, their own is to Europe. If you get to Europe, it's moving to another territory. Of course, you go to Asia and Middle East, it's a different thing. So it's happening all over the world. So that means if your company will last then, you must be conscious of people risks. How do you ensure they maintain the right attitude? How do you ensure that you manage mobility of people, which is happening all over the world, like I said? And then, of course, cost implications. Infrastructural and regulatory constraints. This is a common excuse among companies that fail. But what we tell ourselves is that the companies that survived and last have also operated in the same environment. I will shortly tell you why we now say nowadays that VUCA is old school terminology. We no longer talk VUCA. Now we talk BANI. B-A-N-I. I will come to that shortly. Okay? Some talk about government policy inconsistency, but I will also put it this way, that if you say policy inconsistency is the cause of failure of your business, that means you are not sufficiently paranoid. But that is the title of a book written by Andrew Grove of Intel. It was titled, Only the Paranoid Survive. That means people believe that something will go wrong. He called it 10x factor. Now, obviously, from the short list, these 8 reasons I gave for corporate failure in Nigeria, companies can achieve long-term survival if they make the right choices and execute them effectively. But before I go into the why not, which will be the heart of the conversation, let me address some contextual issues. I won't make it so hard, so that you don't stay veered into the realm of theory. But there was a book published about 31 years ago with the title of this team, Built to Last, written by Jim Collins and Jerry Porras. And they called it Built to Last, Successful Habits of Visionary Companies. I gave the highlight in 2 slides. The first highlight there is what are the attributes of a visionary company. They say number 1, they are a premier institution in their industry, in which case they are a reference when competitors are plotting their strategies. How do we beat them? Because they are a leader in the industry. Equally, the regulators can't ignore them. In fact, there's a particular bank in Nigeria, I won't mention the name, so it won't be like I'm marketing them, okay? That the regulators said they are praying for that bank not to fail. I mean, just think about it. Regulator is praying that the entity it is regulating and supervising should not fail. Prayer. All right? Because they looked at that bank and said, this bank is systemic. If it fails, it can result in serious failure of other banks in that particular sector. All right? Such companies that are visionary are also widely admired by knowledgeable business people. They also make an imprint on the world. Equally, they have multiple generations of chief executive officers, which means they have planned for succession at the executive level and implemented it successfully over time. Then, of course, they also had multiple products or service life cycles. And Jim Collins and Porras said they must have been established before 1950. What that means simply is 1950 to 1994, 44 years. Now, when we talk about generation for human beings, it's about 40 years. That's a generation, all right? So in which case, that must be a company that has lasted longer than a generation, okay? Now, how about the key ideas? What are the things that you must pay attention to build a company that will last? They said, clock building, not time telling. That means you must build the entity and not focus on a leader. I will tell you a story about FCMB shortly with respect to that. They also said, no tyranny of the or. Rather, it's a tyranny of the and, which means everybody in the company has some value to put on the table. So in which case, as leaders, we must encourage members of our team to come up with ideas. No idea is stupid. I have a formula for that in terms of business management. I call it ratio 100 to 20 to 1. But that one has a star on top of it. The idea is bringing Pareto rule inside the 80-20. When I says, allow your people to bring so many ideas, maybe generate 100 of them. But 20 of the 100 may be useful and relevant. So identify the 20. But out of the 20, you may find one idea that is a star idea. So in which case, you are looking for one idea that will make a difference, but you encourage as many as 100 ideas. So I put it as a ratio, 100 to 20 to 1 with a star. All right? Now, they said you must also think beyond profits. Then preserve the core of your business. Now, there used to be an advert on CNN now where, a correspondent will carry a microphone, randomly meet people on the road, and they put a microphone to your mouth. What is your job? Some people will answer succinctly. Some will ramble. They can't tell you what their job is. So I sat back one day and asked myself, what is your job? How do you define your job in a very simple manner? So I came up with this idea that my job is I sell ideas. So that made it very succinct for me. I sell ideas. So if anybody wants to buy anything from me, all I sell are ideas. Ideas that will make people pay me money. But if I want to sell ideas that people will pay me for, that means I must be research in motion. RIM. That means what I say here today on this subject If I'm invited to speak about the same topic tomorrow, I shouldn't say the same thing. That's why I call it research in motion. All right? You must also develop a cult-like culture that will make people look at the organization and say, we cannot understand their culture, the way they work. I think there's a friend of mine that went on a visit to a company, and he said he went in there for a meeting with the CEO around 9 p.m. And everybody was busy working as if it was 9 a.m. I will also give it to Lagos State government. I visited Revenue House recently. I got in there about 6 p.m. And I saw everybody in Revenue House working as if it was just 8 a.m. And I said, public sector, civil servants, 6 p.m., and conducting themselves and full of energy as if it was 8 a.m. I said I need to make time to study how you develop and evolve that culture at LRS. I mean, I saw it as fantastic. Now, when you look at companies that are built to last, they are big in terms of ambition on sustainability, not on revenue, profit, or size. So let me now come to the central issue. Now, when it comes to corporate longevity, Japan stands out in the entire world. It's only in Japan you will find companies that are over 1,000 years old. There are 14 of them. When I did the research and checked, over 1,000 years old. And then companies that are over 100 years old in Japan, over 33,000. Over 100 years old companies, over 33,000. And so, it then means for them, sustainability is by choice. Oh, excellent, plenty of time. All right, thank you. He says, I still have 20 minutes. I will finish before 20 minutes. Thank you very much. Now, let me come to this. I recall sometime in the early 1990s, I was then head of strategy and chief economist of FCMB. FCMB was still small, medium-sized, as we called it then. You know, the founder of the bank is late now. He used to tell us then that what we want FCMB to be is a medium-sized merchant bank. I joined the bank April 1992, and I challenged the idea. Why should we aim to be medium-sized? Why can't we be bigger? Why can't our aspiration be beyond that? But then came an occasion about 30 and a half years ago, January 1995. We had a strategy retreat. Of course, I was in charge of it. Then my line director said, we should get one of us to do a topic, a session, on the weaknesses of FCMB. I asked all the EDs, they ran away from the talk. Me, Face Otumba, and telling the weakness of FCMB, never. I then said, okay, if no director will handle that, let me come to my level, head of business unit. I asked round, everybody said, me, lie, I can't face Otumba and tell him that. I said, okay, I will take the topic. So I told my team in the strategy unit, let's have just 10 bullet points, weaknesses of FCMB. We went to Ijebu, the retreat venue. So I wore a face cap. Then I announced to my colleagues, you see this face cap I'm wearing is that of a consultant. So whatever I say, don't see it as coming from a staff of FCMB. Regular question in strategy sessions. What needs to change? Now, weakness number 5 in the list. We count it as poor climate. So I was then asked to explain what I meant by that. I said, what I meant is that, sir, you had 4 roles in FCMB. Otumba had 4 roles then. He was the founder of FCMB. He was the majority shareholder. He was the chairman of the board of directors. He was also the chief executive officer. 4 roles in one human being. Powerful. All right? So now I said, sir, what we mean by poor organizational climate is that everybody dances around you. So when I finished my session, tea break, one of my colleagues, Dapapara, came to me and said, Doctor, you are bold, though. I said, what do you mean? I'm hired to tell about the truth now so that FMB can be stronger and more profitable. So we left Ijebu. Monday afternoon, he called me to his office during lunchtime. They said, hey, Biodu, can we go over that weakness number 5 again? So inside me, I said, it seems I've gotten myself into trouble. Because here is a man that can fire me by word of mouth. No need for letter. So I said, sir, what I mean simply is that every one of us in FCMB, we like to come to tell you what you like to hear. So that when it comes to time of promotion and maybe some favors, we can be on that list. I said, so the idea, sir, is that we don't want you to pay too much attention to what people come to tell you randomly, especially things that don't point in direction how to make FCMB stronger. Okay, I've gotten your message. You can go. Then about 5 p.m., my line director called me, a Briton, David Drum. He said, Biodu, the chairman just spoke to me now. He said, you had a discussion with him this afternoon. I said, yes, I did. Okay, he said he now understands what you meant by poor national climate. So you can delete it from the strategy document. He has gotten your message. So I deleted it. I said, no problem. I said, Baba has gotten the message. No problem. Following day, Tuesday afternoon, he called me to his office again. Hey, Biodu, can we go over that thing again? Now, this is the essence of this story and the connection to the theme we are discussing today. So I now came up with an idea. I said, sir, I am the head of strategy today in FCMB. The way my mind is working is, what do we need to change in FCMB today that make FCMB remain strong and profitable in 100 years' time? Now, he reclined his chair and then asked me, why 100? I said, sir, I chose 100 deliberately because 100 years' time, none of us will still be working for FCMB. I said, but secondly, sir, I don't pray to be alive in 100 years' time. He said, why? We used to have interesting conversations up until he passed on. Occasions he would call to see me, we sit down and just gist, okay? I said, I don't pray to be alive in 100 years' time because by then I'll be 136 years old. Remember, it was 1995, January. I said, I'll be 136 years old. Certainly, I won't look like I'm looking today. And again, I would have become immobile. Maybe sitting in one corner of the living room. And then my great-grandson, little boy, go and play with great-great-grandpa. I know how they usually behave at that age. He won't talk. He just shake his head. I said, my friend, go and play with great-grandpa. He said, no. Come on, what's your problem? Go and play with great-grandpa. The boy will now move back and point. I don't want to go near that thing. So I told Baba, I don't want to be alive until one little boy calls me that thing. So he laughed in this same way. But that gave me opportunity to now pass the message on Build to Last. I said, sir, FCMB is your dream. And the prayer of every visionary is that his dream should outlast him. He said, stop. Go and call Busola for me. That is Mrs. Adekusibe, for those who know FCMB very well. She served as Baba's PA up until Baba passed on. So a memo was now issued to all of us in FCMB. Nobody should come to his office to tell him any story that won't strengthen FCMB or make us, make more money the right way. And then say, as for you, Biodu, from today, when you are writing any letter going out of FCMB, don't write head of strategy again. Write under your name the longest title in the bank. Executive assistant to the chairman, chief executive. So I earned that title because I challenged the founder of FCMB to think of building the bank to last beyond him. So, but I'm telling this story now 30 years after. Because that was in January 1995. FCMB today is stronger than we had it then when I was a staff. FCMB is more profitable. And interestingly also, in this ongoing recapitalization of the banking industry, FCMB is in a good position to raise the minimum required. So now, I'm sharing that as an encouragement for corporate chieftains here to look at the companies where either you sit as CEO or a member of the board beyond yourself. And I came across something also that helped me as a person. I started my consultancy also 31 years plus ago. We began operations in March 1994. And I owe that to First Bank. Because First Bank gave me the first transaction in March 1994. And by the way, I was then a staff of FCMB. And that's one thing I will give to Baba. That's Otuba Shpembalogu. It nurtured us not only as staff of the bank, but as budding entrepreneurs. FCMB was patronizing my company while I was on the payroll of the bank. FCMB was giving my company business while I was still a staff. That's unusual. Okay? So, but looking around globally, you will get copies of my presentation. I have about 3 tables of companies that are over 100 years old. Okay? But I selected a few of them and also gave you a summary why they have lasted so long. The first there is Beretta. Beretta makes guns. Okay? I mean, those who are familiar with military hardware, you'll be conversant with that name. But why is it in operation for so long? They emphasize quality and innovation. There's also this garments company, Brooks Brothers. Brooks Brothers has clothed all American presidents till date. But what does Brooks Brothers emphasize that makes it last so long? They emphasize respect without ostentation. That means when an American president wears a suit, it is not ostentatious, but it is a brand that distinguishes people that command respect. Tata Group, Coca-Cola, IBM. Then in Nigeria, I picked one out, Alabuku. Alabuku is recognized globally as one of the companies over 100 years. It's a Nigerian brand. So I picked it out and said, why is that company resilient? What I found in what is indicated as longevity secrets for Alabuku is efficacy of the product. Alabuku, by the way, is not sold only in Nigeria. It's sold all over the world. Not just in Nigeria, not only in Africa, everywhere in the world. But it's been around for over 100 years. Okay? Secondly, availability and accessibility is everywhere. It's available. And then affordability. Those are the things I found why that entity is built to last. So let me now come to conclusion. There are several pillars in the framework for build to last. Visionary and ethical leadership, good corporate governance, and compliance. Then, of course, access to long-term capital. In fact, usually, the first 2 give you an access to long-term capital. And of course, equally, there is what I describe as, operational excellence. In fact, the way I put it in strategy terms is the operations of your company run without drama. That means operations are aimed at delivering value to your customers, not drama. Okay? And of course, digital transformation and innovation. I was in this same hall in December 2018 to address all the heads of banking operations in our banking industry. And I was telling them then how the world of banking would change in 7 years' time. We are there already, 2025. And I told them in this hall that by the time we get to 2025, tech will be so fundamental to banking business that any bank that is not doing end-to-end digitization is unlikely to be competitive. But what I then envisaged for 2025 happened in 2020 because of COVID. Okay? So, but the issue now is today, where is your own organization when it comes to digital technology adoption? That is also fundamental. Now, in breaking it down into what I call the mechanism of the pillar, I broke it into what I would call the 7 pillars plus, because I spoke to 9 issues, which you will get from the details. All right? So, but it's important to also mention here that the world we live in now requires you to invest in developing your leaders and also investing in your staff. because they man the shop floors. The world we live in now is no longer about VUCA. Like I said earlier, VUCA is old school. What we talk about now is Bani. Be representing, we live in a brittle world. We can't get a better illustration than what happened last week to Sunday this morning. Okay? Potu said, give me 2 weeks. I will decide what to do about this Iran matter. So everybody was waiting 2 weeks. And then in 2 days, the man gave go ahead to strike. So while people were waiting for 2 weeks, so that is an illustration of how brittle the world we live in is. That means the strategy you used in military warfare to win a hill is not the same strategy you require to keep it. So that means what brought you to success today cannot bring you success tomorrow. You live in a brittle environment. Equally, it's an environment of anxiety. That the A, they're anxious. The third one is the one we call non-linear. You know, for those who are familiar with statistics, you know, economics and the rest of them, we talk about linear and non-linear. But the one we are in now is non-linear. And the last component of that, that's the letter I, is incomprehensible. When we began to look at COVID-19, then we said there's a difference between complex and complicated. We did a thorough analysis of that in 2020 to understand COVID and how to deal with it. But today, what is happening is incomprehensible. So we call it the burning world. So you will get details of this in my slides. There is also the important place of the capital market in all of this. Because I can't end this without making reference to that, because that is the home turf of Pearl Awards. All right? So now it provides access to cheaper long-term funding, as the chairman of NGX said earlier on. Okay? It fosters transparency and accountability. Because if your stock is listed on the exchange, by all means, there are rules, there are regulations, there are standards you must comply with. Okay, so you are therefore motivated to run your business well because of the demands of the floor on which you are listed. Of course, to facilitate collaboration and partnership. The capital market will also deepen sustainable business practices. Of course, as our chairman said earlier, platform for capital formation and more efficient resource utilization. And of course, many exciting stories we can mention there. GT Co, Zenith, Seplat, MTN Nigeria, Bua Foods, etc. Okay? Now, how about policy and institutional support? This now speaks to government. And thank you very much, sir, for that exciting good message. Very loaded. In fact, we encourage that all the speeches made there, people in attendance should please get copies. Now, there's need to have regulatory reforms that you mentioned in your address, sir, to be in line with market dynamics. Very important. So that we can promote transparency and also ensure efficiency. Then there's a need to deepen incentives for capital raising. And if the company raises capital from the market, what are the incentives for that? So that will bring more companies to list on the exchange, rather than look at the exchange otherwise. Then collaborations, of course, to deepen backwardation. Backwardation is the new term that replaced backward integration. So you don't think I'm creating the grammar myself. It's a global thing. All right? Then we need to strengthen the rule of law and, of course, dispute resolution. And then, as you also said in your speech, intensify ease of doing business. So let me conclude this way. Companies that are here, what should they do? Good governance, innovation, professional and diverse boards, very important. And of course, risk management is fundamental. And then, think beyond the founders. Then, regulators. We need policy consistency. We need also commerce facilitation. Because the essence of regulation is not to stifle commerce, but to facilitate it. So there must be a handshake between regulators and operators, market access, collaboration, and to also minimize compliance costs. Very important. This is a global phenomenon. The last component is for investors. Investors should also deliberately reward long-term outlook, not short-term gains and benefits. And of course, also engage in policy advocacy. Let me end it this way. And it will be to remind us something that I came across, I think about 6 years ago. The Challenge of Directors of Nigeria gave me a mandate to prepare a training module for family businesses in Nigeria. So in researching for that, I came across this advisory business in the US that was founded by a man who was late as at that time. His son took over from him running the consultancy. He also had passed on. And then his granddaughter was now the CEO running that consultancy. And she was already in her 60s. I said, okay, so even in my own field of consultancy, there can be succession. So one day, my daughter brought her twins to the office. They were 2 years old. So the first of them is a girl. I carried her, put her on my chair, and carried my phone and took the photograph. And then shared with the family that the future CEO of BA Consult. From that very moment, I also began to think about BA beyond me. And to the glory of God, I will say, I retired from BA as CEO end of May 2024. So that company has run now for a year plus without me as CEO of the company. So it is doable. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. For those standing, thank you. Thank you. For those standing, for those clapping, thank you very much. For those shaking hands with him, God bless you. And for those who appreciate what he did, your companies will last 100 years and beyond. I like Nigeria. It's not by amen, no. It's by hard work. It's by doing what is right, but most importantly, by putting into practice some, if not all, that he said. Can I have another round of applause for him, please? When we started, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke extensively about a book that, in my estimation, that young mind in Kano, Port Harcourt, Aba, Ibadan, or Maiduguri will pick up and say, this is the roadmap I've been waiting for. It's now time, ladies and gentlemen, to do that which we have come to do. I will be needing you, Mr. Address Holmes. Okay. I'll be needing you very soon to help me unveil. I'll be needing quite a couple of you to help me unveil. But first, let me start by observing protocol by inviting Mr. Governor to please come to the table where we'll be unveiling. Permit me to invite Honorable James Abiodun Falike as represented to please also do us the honor. I'd like to invite the representative of Dame Dr. Mrs. Adora Umeoji, Group Managing Director of Zenith Bank, to please join us. Dr. Emomotimi Agama, please join us. The chairman of our board walked in at the right time. Please join us. And like the great MKO Abiola says, you cannot shave the head of the owner in his absence. I'd like to invite Mr. Tayo Rekoya to please join us by the table. I think we still have more space so they don't accuse us of gender inequality. Can I have the two elegant ladies on the front seat join us, Chief Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi and Mrs. Oluwatoyi Sani. I've also been told that if we do not call him, we will not move a step further. So, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite NGX Chairman, please join us. God bless you. Director, Ministry of Finance, Incorporated, please join us. And a man that I know his outfit will last 100 years. Please join us, Mr. Onosoya. In case we need some strong legal advice in the next 100 years, Mr. Borodo, Alaji Borodo, please join us. We might be needing some. Now, the keynote speaker will need somebody to be speaking for us in the next 100 years when we get there. He will not be sitting just in the corner. Ogabayo, please come. Director Pampe, please join us. God bless you. MD Transcorp, please join us. My wife is somewhere in the audience. Please join us. Representative of Mr. Kayode Falowo, please join us. Give me some more, please. Give me some more. Pampe, please join us. Total Mutual Benefit, join us. Oga Mazio Habua, join us. Oga Soni Wosu, join us. All the photographers, join us. You say no, you're not calling me for somebody else. MD Academy Press, join us. Now I will need your help for those in front to stretch their hands towards the book or what is hidden. It might not be a book. It might not be the book. I can't join you. I have to stay far from you. And so, if you're ready, together we'll spell 30 and we shout, "Congratulations, Pearl." Are you ready? Give me one T. It's not I'm tired, we want to spell. It's 30 we are spelling. Are you ready? Give me one T. H I R T Y. Congratulations. Congratulations, Pearl. Please, can we hold a copy each? Can we hold a copy each? This is the fire nobody is afraid of. It's titled Winning Strategies of Nigeria's Corporate Giant, a compendium of exemplary leadership excellence and astute service delivery, a Pearl Awards 30th anniversary publication, and this is the second edition. Ladies and gentlemen, your excellencies, we are happy that generations yet unborn would hold this book and thank all those here for their contribution to history. A round of applause for them, please. On that note, since you are all here, you will not leave until I say leave. I will ask you to please leave the speaker because it will keep echoing. Let me invite the representative of Dr. James Abiodun Faleke to make his... because what is M-O-N without E-Y?
I'll make my... with 20 million for 50 copies.
Thank you very much. Somebody from the House of Reps cannot just come and be trying to scare my governor. The representative of the governor should come. Is the #1 security officer of the state, as well as the custodian of our wealth. Lagos will speak now.
Thank you so much. Well, we are in the season of renewed hope, and then a place where you don't have to exhibit all your strength in terms of naira and kobo. Everybody knows how rich Lagos is. So I'm not going to make any pledge right here, but I assure you that by the time I report back to the publisher, those people put this together, they are going to have so much nice story to tell. Thank you. I will get back to you.
Thank you, sir. By the powers vested in me, I hereby cancel all I shall not announce, spiritually and physically, in Jesus' name. I'd like to invite one of Nigeria's finest banking minds, the man who has an address that is in the address homes, Mr. Onosoya, to please, Dr. Onosoya, to please do his part and leave his wristwatch for me when he's going.
You know, as a banker, I was not allowed to, but now I'm not a banker. I would pick 5 copies for 5 million naira.
You have forgotten the wristwatch, sir. So where do I go from here? I'm afraid of your regulatory. He might say he won't announce now. That's my fear. And if I harass him, you will not allow me to harass him. Apex Regulatory, over to you, sir. No, we're not asking you to donate. Okay, so what we need you to do, sir, is take as many copies of the book as possible and send to universities and higher institutions around Nigeria. No, I am regulating this. I'm your regulator this afternoon. Can I have a round of applause for you, please? I'm afraid to call somebody now because there's a precedence. But I trust Mr. Orekoya to send me somebody that will not follow the precedence. A round of applause for Zenith Bank, the bank at the zenith of it all. Oh, please hold on.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm happy to represent my group managing director. We have been partners in progress with the Pearl Awards. And if you see this copy, you'll see her interview. in the book. So she has asked that we take 20 copies and bring to the office. She's going to get in touch with the chairman, and I'm sure you know what she will do. Thank you.
Or better still, she's my sister. Should I just announce on her behalf? Okay. Mr. T, where do I go from here? Should I go to the emeritus who holds the whole stocks in his hand? See, I should not be paid. I should not be, Mr. Orekoya, I should not be paid for this event, for this huge oversight. How can you be here, sir, and I'll be looking for who to launch? Alhaji Kwaranga, do it for me. Thank you very much.
Should I face the audience, or I should face those people that are going to launch the book? I've been pushed now to say a figure which my DG have decided to show me the road. So we'll buy for our library. And you know, we have an academy at the NDX too. So I think that will go a long way. But we don't charge, we try to see how to build the future capital market operators. So we'll buy the book, 10 copies at 1 million naira.
Thank you, regulator. Alhaji, Douala Kuso. He said the regulator has deregulated the regulation that you just put down now. So, regulator, sir, it's below the cost of production. So, regulator, sir, should we just give him 2 copies, or we just increase the money we want from him? Over to you, sir. Let me not harass you, please. The regulator is angry with us. All right. So I'll move to CSAS. Every time I hear Pakpam, I'm happy with you. Please make us happier.
Good afternoon. I actually came here to sit on a panel, not to launch a book. Which is why I deliberately did as if I didn't hear me when I was being called. But then I was standing, I'll personally donate 500,000 for 2 books. And then I'll go back to my board and certainly will support. I will donate to the Capital Market Institute at the SEC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to Transcorp last, please. He's thinking, let me tell you what Transcorp is thinking of doing. Let me tell you what Transcorp is thinking of doing. Mr. Orekoya, Mr. Transcorp is calculating everything that has been donated and intends to double it. Sir, Greenwich, or Greenwich? I will know if there's winch in it now.
Okay, you know, as a banker, we don't make a public announcement, but I trust my chairman. It's good to go back to the organizer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Mazi, please let me come to you, sir. Okay. Okay, let me go to Transcorp now. Transcorp collects money for people to sleep. Please wake us up.
No setup here. Okay, I would take 5 copies for the sum of 2 million naira.
Thank you very much. God bless you. And you are all board members. Mutual benefit, where are you, please? I've not seen Academy Press. I've not seen Pampe. Stanbic IBTC. Okay, you know, this is what we're going to do. Can I have somebody quickly from... It's coming, God bless you. Let me tell you what we're going to do. I want to announce that you're about to announce.
No, just tell us what to do. But mutual benefit, we are going to get
Pam?
So we're going to take 5 copies and we'll pay 300,000 for the 5 copies. Okay, so I'll take 1 copy, 200,000. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will crave the indulgence of everyone who is here to please call on the ushers, one after the other, so that we take a copy of the book home. Ushers, your duty is to please go around and make sure that everybody takes a copy of the book home. Mr. Orekoya, thank you very much, dear regulator. God bless you. We appreciate you. After this, we'll be moving at the speed of light because we know that lunch is served and we want it to get cold. We'll be moving to the next item on the list, which is the panel session that will be anchored by one of Nigeria's finest, if not one of Nigeria's most informed capital market mind. Is consistently over the year written the rules, we've written them, and over propagated for excellence in the marketplace. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm surprised that no Nigerian university has deemed it yet to give him a doctorate degree. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome broadcaster, analysts, Mr. Bosin Omofaye. A round of applause for him, please. Before I finally hand over to him, we'll be doing this for 30 minutes, I'm told. Please, all the ushers we go around, please let's leave with at least a copy of the book. I'm told that the launch price for today, and because of cost of production, is 200,000 naira. Please, let's do our best to support generations yet unborn. Thank you.
Thank you, Deyinka. We really appreciate what you've done. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here since morning. We appreciate your time on behalf of Pearl Awards, an organization that I was part of from the very beginning. And I'm proud that today I have the privilege and honor of being here. The organization that precedes Pearl Awards was known as, was also a company by a very big corporate name. And then this organization put me on television for the first time. But there's always been a capital market journey for me. And now, after having done 30 years of what we've been able to achieve, and I want to say a very big thank you to the visionary, Mr. Tayo Orekoya. Please, let's give him a very round of applause. It all looks like yesterday, but we need to build for the future. Please welcome my panelists. And this is very tough for me to discuss after listening to someone like Dr. Adedekwe. Please put your hands together for Dr. Toyin Soni. Please, Dr. Mrs. Oluwa Toyin Soni, please put your hands together for her, an investment banker, a legal expert, a licensed market professional. and the CEO and founder of Emerging Africa Capital. Please also give a big round of applause also to Dr. Bayo Olugbemi, the CEO of First Registrars Limited, nearly 40 years in the market, also a market professional, a licensed broker-dealer on the floor. Say hi. Make it a stronger one. Hi, hi. Thank you. Another investment banker and a former president and chairman of Council of CIBN with a very long resume. Please, let's also say a very big thank you to Mr. Haruna Jallo Waziri. Okay, I guess he stepped out briefly. He used to be on my panel. And then, of course, Mr. Oduwole Temitayo, the Chief Technical Officer of PalmPay Nigeria. He's representing Mr. Chikan Wosu, who is unavoidably absent, the CEO of PalmPay Nigeria. Please take a seat. I'm sure PalmPay is looking to be more than 1,000 years old like the Japanese. Now, your hands together for Haruna Jallo Waziri. Mr. Jallo Waziri, a CEO, Managing Director of CSCS PLC, a former Executive Director of the Nigerian Exchange, also an investment banker, 30 years plus, also in the market, a former CEO, UBA Stockbrokers and UBA Asset Management, also an investment banker. Now that we have the team complete, so we have the team complete. I think I want to take a cue. I will have just about 30 minutes, and I want us to give a little bit of a time to the executives on the floor to give their experiences, very short as it were, to also speak to corporate longevity. I'm sure we still have a few in the room. The likes of Dr. Mrs. Fadayomi Eniola, the likes of Chief Onwambo as well. Those are some who have spent years in the corporate boardroom in Nigeria. But because I have more of investment bankers, Mr. Temitayo, it looks like you and I are the only one who are not investment bankers here. The rest are those who know how to make money and how to ensure they comb through the books, they look at your offer, they look at what you're coming to do in the market. And very interesting, Dr. Adedipe, if you have a few seconds, what you said about the listings on the NGX. Those companies that were listed, and many of them no longer on the exchange for a number of reasons. So that means that how do we then use the market? How do we use the market to build to last? And I want us to take that as the anchor. How do we use the market? I'm going to ask PalmPay, when you are coming to list on the exchange, your neighbor to the left is interested, CSCS PLC. The NGX is also interested in when PalmPay will be a PLC and come to list on the market. How do we build to last using the instrumentality of the capital market? And I think that is where I would want us to see how can we increase the number of listings across markets, and how can we begin to let promoters and issuers see longevity when they come to us. What I saw we've seen in recent times is that a number of companies coming to list or coming to raise money, commercial paper, short-term borrowings, are not necessarily listed, but they are PLCs. So how do we ensure that they don't just raise money from the market, but there's longevity, the build to last? We can see 50, 100 years down the line. 6 companies, 100 years only for a country like Nigeria is at the bottom of the pyramid. So let me start with Dr. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Sani. And I'm so because I want you to actually chair this for me as the only female on the board, as it were here. Give me your opening thoughts. How do we use the market to instill corporate sustainability for Nigeria?
Thank you. Thank you, Bosin. And I'm so happy that I actually don't think it's a coincidence that I have you and my brothers that are with me on the panel, because for most of us, we share the same history in terms of our time on the markets, on the Nigerian capital market, and contributions to the market. I am excited about what Pearl Awards is doing, because I'm speaking not just as a board member of the Pearl Awards, but also as somebody who has been on the Pearl Awards stage as an awardee. And the year that I was an awardee, thank you. Thank you. So this is poignant for me, because
by the way, respectfully, the first female and the first only female in 30 years, the CEO of the year of the Pearl Awards. I think in November she deserves another award for holding that title for 30 years, 33 decades in Nigeria. I forgot to mention that. Now, don't penalize me. Make that to last.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I am I'm touched. And let me start by saying that, so I'm going to be speaking both as somebody who has run a public company in Nigeria, and by the grace of God, a listed company that is still doing amazing things, doing incredibly well, and I'm very proud of them. And also as somebody who has also then, after of course, long after winning, not when I won, has since joined the board of the Pearl Awards to ensure that there's continuity. So one of the things that I will say already is that history is already being made, because the examples that my dear brother Dr. Adedipe gave in terms of the companies that could not stay or did not stay on the market, we have seen that the companies that have won this award remain listed on the market. So I think what was missing then was that there was no Pearl Awards. Since we had Pearl Awards, we're now institutionalizing governance. So now back to, that's the truth. We're setting standards. And Pearl Awards contribute in multiple ways. But I want to go directly now. And I said some of those things because you asked me to set the stage. So let me go back to the question how can the capital market support the institutionalization of businesses and ensure that Nigerian businesses actually do last? And I'm going to start from the perspective of access to finance. So Dr. Adedipe also identified that one of the causes for collapse or the death of businesses is inability to access continued, sustained funding over the years. So the beauty of the capital market and the work that all of us do, my brother Jalo at the CSES, my brother Dr. Olubemi at First Registrars, and I at Emerging Africa Capital, which is, of course, a leading investment bank in Nigeria, to the glory of God. Now, one of the contributions, the major contributions, is that for a company to last, it needs to have access to a diverse source of capital. Because in the history of the company, it will need different types of capital at different times. It would also need patient capital, and it will need capital that is accessible and is appropriately priced. Now, the capital market offers an array of opportunities. And so if you are a company that is requiring short-term funding, parties around this table and in this room, acting as both advisors, book runners, and investors, will be able to grant you access to commercial paper. If you're looking for longer tenured funding, but you're looking for funding on fixed terms, obviously we can arrange bonds for you. If you're looking for patient long-term equity and you're looking for risk partners and risk participants who are they're not going to demand the money from you if you're not making a profit, but are going to be willing to ride this journey with you, then obviously there is equity available on this capital market. So that's one critical way that the capital market, and of course, when you then list as a listed company, a quoted company, you are then able to access this funding, not just from private investors, but from the public at large. So critical to sustainability and lasting of companies is the ability to access diverse and the right form of capital at the time you need it, and from an increasingly broader range and type of investors.
I love that.
Thank you.
And please give her a round of applause. And I love that perspective. Risk capital. Not those who are there for the profit, but those who are ready to take risk with you and bringing that capital to the table. Dr. Olugbemi, first registrars, I'm sure you've got hundreds of companies under that. As a former president of the CIBN, I'm sure you also served with bank executives over the several decades. So I'm sure the issue of corporate governance, sustainability had come up not only in your boardroom, but on the other companies of which you have also served. Tell me about how the capital market can support sustainable funding and sustainability in terms of longevity or built to last, and what do you think the winning strategies should be, complementing what the keynote speaker gave us?
Thank you very much. Dr. Adedepe has laid the foundation, and it was well laid. And of course, my sister and our Yahoo has also done a great, she has said a lot of things. Just a few days ago, I was somewhere and we were discussing companies, we were discussing entrepreneurs, especially from Ibadan land, who had been there over the years, and from Yoruba part of Nigeria, because it was a Yoruba setting. And we said some of our entrepreneurs that shook this nation over the years, I don't want to mention them, but you know the names, but because they did not, and they didn't have that vision of listing their companies on the stock exchange, most of those companies are now dead when they left, when they died. Even before they died, some of them. But look at a Dangote. Look at all these companies. And I give credit to the NGX, then as led by Professor Mrs. Ndidi Okeke. She encouraged Nigerian entrepreneurs to get their company listed on the stock exchange. And of course, there were a lot of waivers just to encourage them. And the Dangotes of this world took advantage of that. And today we could see how great those companies are doing. If Dangote lives today, those companies are built to last. And they will be there for a long time to come. The likes of First Bank, the likes of UBA, it was because they got listed that they are still strong today. And the issue of corporate governance, of course, is very, very, very key. And thank God for PL Award, who encouraged the issue of corporate governance, and of course the NGX and the SEC in particular, that put on their feet that companies must be run according to the books, according to the rules. If we see most of the companies that have died over the years, it was because they have very, very weak or absence of corporate governance at all. And for those that are built to last and are doing very well today, go and check the records. Good corporate governance. And they did not just build the company for profitability in the short run, they built the company for a long haul. And that's why they are still around. So my advice, that as many as are here today who have one company or the other, I was discussing with my boss, Mr. Onosanya, before he left, on the issue of his business. And he said, hey, that business is built to last. The company is running auto, with or without him around. And I encourage people like him and others here to get their companies that are doing very well listed on the stock exchange. And you will see what will happen over the years. There's a particular company, I'm not promoting them, they used to be called Niger Delta Exploratory Company. They're not Aradel.
NEDP.
Now, they're now Aradel.
Yes.
See what they're doing. Doing great, because corporate governance has always been there, and they are listed on the stock exchange. So if you want to really build to last, as your company grows, try and bring it to the NGX or get it listed, even if it's on the second tier, NASD, or the other one, this will be better.
This will be better. Thank you, Dr. Lubemi, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Actually, Dangote Cement story is such a very classic story. We all remember the market leader before Dangote Cement came to the market, Lafarge Africa, which was WAPCO, and then Dangote Cement eventually came in and took the market by storm, as it were, and today the rest is, I think perhaps that also gave Aliko Dangote the heart, the lion heart to say, look, I can do a refinery. I can do for sugar, I can do for petroleum, I can do for others. I think that's what the can-do spirit of the market. Let me ask Mr. Haruna Jallo Waziri about, I'm sure from CSCS, and of course before that being an executive director at the NGX, I'm sure you also interact with listed companies and those who are looking to issue on the market, as well as being the CEO of at least 2 market institutions, UBA Stockbrokers and Asset Management. Give me your thoughts quickly on this issue around corporate governance and how not only the NGX, but the entire market can reinforce built to last. What do you think the winning strategies can be based on what you've heard over the last 30 years in the market?
Thank you, Watson. So I'm going to say it from 2 aspects. One, from deal origination. From deal origination, being in the market, trying to curate companies to actually raise capital. The second aspect would be sitting at the stock exchange, whose responsibility was to attract listings to the exchange. And of course, the third part would be sitting at CSCS and seeing what has happened. I once saw a video of Jeff Bezos, who talked about the fact that in the US, especially in the San Bernardino Valley area, that you could come with a business idea and raise capital within 48 hours. The question is, he says the capital is available, the understanding and sophistication of the market is clear, they understand the risk you're going to take, and guess what? When you're a startup, there's an 80 to 90% chance that you will fail, and most of them do, but all this time you will still see startups come, raise capital, and the capital is there. The question is why? Let's situate it to Nigeria. The key issue we have sometimes is around when companies come to raise capital, how much disclosure is there about the company? How much structure does the company have? Are there hidden issues around the vertical integration or otherwise? And then more importantly is that, does that company have credibility? What you find is that where companies have credibility and have full disclosure, you find that their valuations are typically higher when they come to markets. But where those things are less, you find that the valuations are lower. And before the investor and the company come together, they have to come to the middle and find a strike price. But what is key to me and my understanding is that, sincerely speaking, what is lacking and is still lacking, and we need to improve on that, is the overall governance around companies in Nigeria. And those goes with regulators ensuring they do their jobs, the financial, the accounts that are being produced, the auditors are also being checked to make sure that they represent what it is. And anybody inspecting those companies under certain regulations should also be mindful where a company fails, they should be held responsible. That's the thing I think that is lacking in our environment. In the US, if you raise capital, you raise capital. If there is litigation, you go to court, you find judgment. Yeah. Here, if you attempt to enforce contract, it can take you 25 years. So people avoid issue where they will have to enforce contract, and which is why you see lethargy around, people trying to bring in capital to companies that they don't know, and that has to be corrected. Thank you.
Interesting. Jallo Waziri, thank you so much of the CSCS. Thank you for those thoughts. Dr. Catherine Nwosu, who is the CEO of African Prudential, is in the US. She's joining us online. Madam, if you're there, if you can hear me, is that a good morning? Yes, it's a good morning. Dr. Catherine? I thought we had a connection. Please, we're going to take her as soon as she joins us on this discussion. We've not gone to Q&A, but please permit me to have a few thoughts from the floor. And I want to recognize a few individuals who have, okay, Dr. Catherine Nwosu, this is Boston Amofaye calling. Can you hear me, doctor? I guess there's a little bit of...
Hello.
Okay, hello, you can hear me, madam? Could the tech team kindly power our audio to the main address system so that the rest of us in the audience can hear her very clearly? Thank you. Alternatively, I'm going to do like Aaron. Just power her to me, and I will translate to the audience what she said. Either way, I can be her mouthpiece. Okay, I guess that connection just went off. Please, do we have a microphone for the floor? My team, do we have a microphone for the floor, please, very quickly? Where is my team? Do I have one microphone that can rove on the floor? Okay, then please come and take mine. No, hold on. My panelists should have their microphones. Come and take this. And could you please pass this to Chief Dr. Onwabunwa to give us his thoughts on Built to Last. It's one of the big examples in Nigeria when you talk about corporate boardroom. And in terms of Built to Last, I'm sure he's seen many companies come and gone, and he can share just about a minute or two of his experience with us. You have the floor, sir. Chief Sam.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that the impact of the discipline that comes from being part of the stock market is a major factor that does support sustainability and the ability to last. Coming from my own experience, the headwinds that we faced after our divestment in 1997, the management buyout from Pfizer to become NIMET, we faced very strong headwinds, and that could have killed any company that didn't have the linkage to the stock market. So if anybody wants to know not only the ability to access funding, but also the ability to attract the kind of investors that are willing to have the patience that was defined by Fumi when she talked about those with the philosophy or the orientation of patient capital. As a private company, you could have easy access to bank facilities, 90-day money, 30-day money, and all sorts. But you wouldn't have that because who are you? Who is going to stand up for you? But if you belong to the stock market, by the time you go through the review of the SEC and the attestation by your issuing houses and the brokers, you become a personality that an investor, without knowing much of you, can take a risk on. And that has been helpful because we have had to go to the market several times, adopted different methods of assessing funding. And the fact that NIMET has been a member of the Nigerian Stock Exchange has helped sustainability. Corporate governance, SEC demands it. Everybody else demands corporate governance now. And so whether you like it or not, you are impelled and compelled. If you were a private company not quoted on the stock exchange, you won't go through the same rigor, and certainly maybe it won't be the story that we are today. So I want to applaud the corporate market and also all the agencies that have helped to sustain it today and for where it's gone from one stage to the other. And that's my attraction to the PL Award group, because it's been a not only for sustaining corporate governance, but also the competitiveness that it creates amongst the different industry groups. It's been also been helpful in sustaining performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's put our hands for Dr. Sam Onwabunwa. Please bring the microphone straight to the front row to Dr. Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi. She's someone who has been in the corporate boardroom, also in government, public service for many years and decades. I'm sure, Madam, can you share about a minute with us on corporate sustainability, surviving the environment, built to last, what you think some of the winning strategies should be?
Okay. Thank you very much. To our distinguished guests here, I just want to emphasize that what we are doing here today is very, very important for sustainability. We've been talking a lot about, say, 30 years now since Pearl Awards, and before then also a lot had been happening in the continent and also globally. Before, even in Europe, that we all look up to today, the concept of corporate governance really was very minimal. It took very active steps, and I'm going from it from a different point of view, just to say something different. It took the active steps of the corporate public world in those countries, abroad, in Europe particularly, to enforce the concept of corporate governance. And from then on, they started to thrive. I'm referring to them taking up their leaders and ensuring that these foreign companies that brought in bribery and corruption, it was imported from Europe into the African continent. They come in with very big contracts. They're given very big contracts. And for all of us here, not us, I'm representing those who have been placed in charge. They make it so attractive, they don't have any choice. Now, from abroad, it was said, no European company, I'm not naming countries, no European company is allowed to come to any developing country and offer any form of special incentive to get any kind of special deal. And the penalty for that was imprisonment. Now, in Nigeria, we are now reaching that same level. Some years ago, there was no such thing even called corporate governance. But here we are now talking about corporate governance, and to a great extent, I think we are imbibing that concept. We have top executives that have been here today that have committed their very, very special time, valuable time, and even their funds of their company to ensure that the concept and principles of corporate governance continue and are sustained. So I just want to emphasize that we have gone a long way with organizations like Pearl Awards and many other organizations that have invested their time, money, funds, the Nigerian exchange, the securities exchange, all of them have invested time and money. And I think we are moving in the right direction in Nigeria. And I think that we should not condemn ourselves too much. We are moving in the right direction, and we've gone a long way. And I just want to use this opportunity to commend Pearl Awards and all the organizations, the regulatory bodies, and the very important people who are here, all the participators of today's summit, in supporting this concept. And we know that we are going to go far. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Eniola Farayomi. Thank you very much. Please give a very round of applause. Thank you, madam. I'll take just, if you permit me, my panelists, I'll take just about one or two more comments from the floor, if you allow me within the time possible. We have companies in Nigeria that are also looking at corporate governance. And my very good friend here in white shirt, Perhaps he thinks I can recognize him in the audience. Yeah, that's the gentleman who is smiling, Chris. Please, can you give him the microphone? He comes from the Hess Holdings family, and I think one of the emerging enterprise group in Nigeria that is doing so. Give me your thoughts when it comes to corporate governance for like Hess Holdings with various insurance, oil and gas, hospitality, leisure, banking, investment banking, and what have you. What are the key issues being discussed at the boardroom that you want to share with us for just about a minute only? Thank you so much. 60 seconds will be good if you can put that succinctly for us. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for putting me under the spot.
Yes, please.
So for us at the Hess Holdings Group, and of course, you know, Hess Holdings have multiple groups within it. Corporate governance is a core pillar. And, you know, the way we do it is that we break it down. So, you know, in some organizations, corporate governance is for the board of directors, right, to discuss. But in the Hess Holdings Group, we break it down. We break it down to the, you know, the last member of the team, the employee. We communicate corporate governance so that everybody understands, even the security man at the gate has a role to play to make sure that we have sound corporate governance practices. So, you know, we take it down to the point, to the individual, where you then say corporate governance for who? Because corporate governance is demanding leadership, accountability. And so leadership for who? Even when you are not a supervisor, right? It then means that you even have to lead yourself. So that's how we break it down. You must be able to lead yourself even when you don't have people reporting to you directly in terms of the org structure. And so that's where it starts. And then you begin to account, you know, because accountability must go for sound corporate governance to be seen, to be practiced. And then we have also connected, if you know, a lot of research have been done within our group, and there is connection to show that every company that has lasted, there is a link to sound corporate governance practice by whatsoever called. And the reason I say this is that if you go back to the 50s, to 60s, 70s, even 80s, and even 90s, corporate governance was not as fashionable today. But what does it really mean? It's just good corporate behavior, good behavior, sound principles, and making sure that you take steps to make sure that there is sustainability at the end of it all. So we connect all the dots. And the way we summarize it in Hess Holdings is in our core values. And what are the core values? That we call them the 3 E's: enterprise, execution, excellence. And in excellence, all of them is rounded up. And you cannot be excellent if you don't practice sound corporate governance principles. And that is how it works for us. And of course, like I said, with accountability, then you find out that all the principles we've learned today are upheld, and they eventually reflect in sustainable performance. We are not just interested in performance in Hess Holdings Group, but sustainable performance, so that you cannot just repeat what you've done today, but you will improve on it sustainably, and eventually we'll get to the point where we also hand over to the next generation, expecting that they in turn will also hand over. By the way, when I saw Built to Last, I smiled, because we also remind ourselves in Hess Holdings Group that we are actually building to last. And when you are building to last, then you're focused on the future and not just for the rewards of today.
Chris. Please give me a round of applause. Thank you so much. I deliberately put you on the spot because, and without doing PR for Hess Insurance, it's one company that, if you look at their corporate advertorial, They have an office that you can be looking at a 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old. And I look at their corporate video, and I could finally find anyone above 30 or 40. They're just all young. And I said, how do you run an insurance company with just youths only, roughly 99%? And it was so amazing, because everyone in Nigeria would think that an insurance company should be my seniors and my age, because they are the ones who understand insurance. But they just came in and just recruit young people with earphones and whatever. And I said, how do you do it? And that's why I pointed you out. Thank you so much. Finally, let's give a minute of the floor to the investors and the shareholders, because they are the ones who bring the money in. And without them, I'm not sure the rest of us here will be here. Perhaps with my exception, because the three of you, Jallo and Madam Toyi, are those who have. So let me call my friend who is looking at me. You have the floor, yes. Please give him the microphone for 1 minute. Please, you have the floor. It's one of the shareholders. And where's that microphone? Oh. Please, quickly, 1 minute, sir. And I'm looking at the role of the shareholders and investors in this.
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Kabiru Abdullahi Tambari, one of the Shareholders Association from Sokoto State. What I want to say about this PEL Award, it gives us the courage and elbows so that we can invest more in the capital markets, since I'm on it for the past 25 years now. And I have seen some people that I know for a decade, like Mrs. Sani, who is the former MD of United Capital PLC, and I'm a shareholder there. I know the kind of contribution she makes, so that's why anytime we met at the AGM, I always call her, what man can do, woman can do more. And also, my friend Jallo Waziri, I see the kind of contribution he is doing for us in CSCS. We just held our AGM last month here at Oriental, and on that day we receive our dividend. What I just want to call on CSCS, although it's not an AGM, I want CSCS to be listed at the main on Nigerian Exchange Group PLC. That's my opinion. And once again, I really appreciate this gathering. And by God willing, we are going to tell our people so that they can come into the Nigerian market. Any investor that invested his money, what we need is dividend and capital appreciation. Thank you very much.
The CSCS is already listed on the NESD OTC. So now Alhaji Kabiru says he used to be listed on the exchange as well, so that he can look at the price of both listings and then make more money. It's a very nice advice. It's a home delivery. How do you respond? But very important, we have a dynamic environment right now. I'm beginning to summarize with my panel. We're going through two major reforms of the current administration. And when we look at what Dr. Dedipe said about the S&P 500, that the rate at which companies are surviving is beginning to decline. And that is very worrying to me. If that could happen around the S&P 500 in America, then when you look at the Nigerian environment, who is built to last, under the current environment. But I also love what Dr. Didipo said, is that perhaps a contrarian principle of Warren Buffett and others will help to swim against the tide. Prepare that things will likely go wrong, and things do go wrong. Jalo Wasure, let's start with you, sir. And that will be the final round of this.
Alhaji Tambol, we've discussed this at the last AGM. We do understand.
Alhaji Kabiru.
Tamba, sorry. Do Gidane. What I was trying to explain is that we've seen that, and thank God Mr. Olubemi was also a director at the CSCS, and that discussion has been on for a very long time in terms of whether or not, as a market infrastructure, we should list. But let me correct some analogy. We are not listed at NASD, we are traded.
Sorry.
So we're traded at NASD because shareholders go there as OTC and put a price and put an environment. With the listing at the exchange, there's a regulatory requirement of disclosures that you must do, which has a higher disclosure level. And that's why you see companies graduate from OTC markets to the main markets. More securities markets that require approvals for listings. So that journey is ongoing, the discussion is ongoing, and I'm sure the board will take the right decision around that. So that's for that. In terms of the issue around price discovery and proper return, typically when you go to markets that are well regulated and there are more shareholders that are likely to participate. So you see the liquidity at NSE is lower than what it is at the main exchange. And that's what shareholders are looking for in terms of price discovery. I'm sure we'll go to that journey one day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jalo Waziri, for when the journey for listing. Let me be the first to know. Dr. Tuisoni.
So what I would like to add is that for a company to be resilient, it needs critical things. Yes. The first one is technology adoption. The most disruptive force in today's world is the force of technological change. And it's happening everywhere, and it cuts across all industries. So if you are building to last, you need to change your mindset, irrespective of what you are selling. It doesn't matter if you are selling, if it's a dredging business. You need to shift your mindset to, look, this is a world of technological innovation. How is technology going to impact our business? How are we preparing ourselves? So right now we're talking about artificial intelligence. It's not a wish to have. It's a need to adapt. At Emerging Africa Capital, we have embraced artificial intelligence. We have an ongoing technology adoption process, and you can't stop it. Second thing I will talk about is succession building, and I will stop there. Companies that last. My head of HR posted something on LinkedIn yesterday. He said, the reality is that human beings have a right to vote with their feet. They're not bad when they leave. They're just taking a decision that is best for them. And again, our keynote speaker said even the US last year was dealing with JAPA. So he posted something. He said, not only should you have a backup for every key position, you must now have a backup for every backup. So if you want to build to last, you have your backups, and you have your backups for their backups, rather than agonizing over where people are going and why they're going. Let me stop there.
And that
technology and people.
That's what we call resilience.
If you get it right with technology and people, you are more likely to succeed. And of course, governance that has been talked about. Thank you.
I think that's one main pillar of what we call resilience. You back up the backup to the backup. Now let me back that up with Dr.
Thank you very much. I will say 2 or 3 things. Number one is that in the academia, they say it's either you publish or you perish. So in the industry, capital market or any industry at all, you either innovate or you die. So innovation is very key to building to last. The way you did it yesterday, or you did it yesterday, is not the way you should do it today and tomorrow. You must change every time. If you don't innovate, you get out of this system. Whether you're in the banking industry, even whether you're even in the technology space, technology changes every day. Every day. I mean, 2020 was a watershed in the history of the world. And some of us had, in the banking industry in particular, we had adopted some of these Zoom and the rest on a very small scale, thank God. That when COVID came, we were able to continue to operate. So you should think ahead of competition. You should think ahead of what happens tomorrow. In CIBN, there was a time that we were talking about banking without walls. And it's happening today. So we must continue to embrace technology. And talking about backing up, the backing up, and the backing up. Just before we came on, I was telling my former boss that in first registrars, that whether I'm there or not, the place is running. In fact, in the past 4 years, I would say I've just been enjoying myself. Really? Because we've trained sufficient people to do the job. They're doing the job, I sign off, I take the accolades, they do the work.
And you take the package as well?
And I take the package as well because we have trained them sufficiently. We lost so many people to Canada, you lose people to competition, Canada, and compensation these days.
Oh, really? Yes, the triple C.
The 3 C's. Compensation, Canada. And competition. Canada represents the whole world. So, but at the point in time when I lost a big client for whatever reasons, I was like, how do I unbundle this? I didn't have the mind. I can't sack. But somehow CCC took many of them away. But I didn't replace them because we had people in the pipeline that could fit in sufficiently and we were running. So we must think ahead. You must prepare people that will take over from you because anything can happen to you. If you are not sacked, you retire, you can even die. So always think, not only in the big company, even at home, in your house, you must prepare your succession because you are not successful until you have a successor who succeeds after you. So we must think ahead of 100 years, just like Dr. Adedipe said. Think ahead 100 years, 20 years, 30 years. What happens to your businesses if you are not there? And you must prepare.
Thank you, Dr. Olugbemi. A round of applause for you. Let me allow Jalo Waziri to round off just about a minute or so, because I remember the way CSCS was when it was set up back in 1997 or so was not what it is today. So when you talk about innovation and moving forward with the rest of the market, now the SEC was talking about T+2 transaction cycle for the Nigerian market and how we can build to last on technology that will be innovation that will be central to companies that are plugging into the market infrastructure so that they can also have longevity. Can you wrap that up for us in just about 1 minute and then we're done?
So what we decided, and I think Mr. Olugbemi was there when I joined as CEO, one of the things that I thought was very important was what I call e-capital. If you look at Tesla, for example, Tesla is a car, but it's actually a software. Yes. So Tesla is actually a software. It's not a car. So they decided, look, we're going to build a software and put it in a car or put a car inside it. So you could upgrade anything, you could do things. And quickly people realized that after many years of Ford and the Toyotas and everything, how come this company is there and it's 10 times their value or whatever it is? It's because it's e-capital. We realized that the way to build businesses is to focus on e-capital. And once you drive that and it's embedded in the DNA of the company, then the services and products that you are looking for would have that resilience and, cyclical sustainability that would happen. So those are the things that we did at the CSCS. But in terms of my perspective, I think 3 things are always very important. It's important to have a leader with vision. It's important that the board understands that vision and supports the leader. And it's also important that that North Star is not taken away. And of course, I keep saying it's about people, people, people. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. A round of applause to my panelists. Please say a very big thank you. A round of applause for Dr. Bayo Olugbemi of First Registrars, Dr. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Sani of Emerging Africa Capital, and the Managing Director, CEO of CSPLC. Please let's step forward for a group photograph and then Please let me ask the chairman of the president, please step forward. Dr. Adedipe, our keynote speaker, because this is your paper that we were discussing to join in the group photograph. Thank you. And then my colleague will take over from here.
Hello. All right. While we're doing that, please, Lazarus from Pompey, please, your attention is urgently needed right now. Please. Your attention is needed at the reception. Lazarus, if you're here, please, you're urgently wanted outside. Please, it is very, very important. It's an emergency. Thank you. Once again, let's give them a round of applause. Please clap your hands for them. And I bet you enjoyed it. It's been an interesting session. Thank you so much, sirs. Thank you. Thank you, Bosin. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, right now, I would like to invite Chief Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi for the closing remarks. Thank you, Ma. Please give her a round of applause as she steps forward. Thank you.
My paper there. Well, I think lunch is beckoning, so let me stand on the existing protocols and move straight to where we are. You will all agree with me that today has been a wonderful day and event for all of us that have been here. We've seen overwhelming support in all the words for what Pearl Awards have been doing and the very relevance and topical theme of Built to Last and corporate sustainability. We have learned a lot and so much today from our keynote speaker, our knowledgeable and I don't know whether I should use the word famous, but there's nowhere in Nigeria that Mr. Biodun Adedipe would talk that we would not be expecting so much and we will be handsomely rewarded. And the expert panelists from the expert panelists we have here who have also talked about winning strategies and the importance of what it means to build to last and the need for corporate governance and sustainability. So, as we conclude this very enlightening corporate summit and the book launch of great men and women who have distinguished themselves in the financial, corporate, and capital markets industry, and on behalf of the chairman and president and CEO of Pearl Awards, I'd like to extend my sincerest gratitude to each of you here present. You stayed so long with us today for joining us to celebrate and acknowledge 30 years of Pearl Awards and the achievements and significant milestones in the journey of not only Pearl Awards, but all the unique people who have been recognized in this book. And for all of you here too, the purpose has been to highlight to everyone and to the people here in particular, all the stakeholders of the winning strategy, to highlight the winning strategies to enable us to stay on the road to sustainability and success in Nigeria as in any other part of the world. Your presence, input, and contributions here today underscores the importance of resilience, sustainability, continuous learning, innovation, knowledge sharing, and collaboration in our industry, corporates, and in the corporate world. So, reflecting on 30 years of Pearl Awards, this launch and special event has been the outcome of the vision and dreams of the founders of Pearl Awards. And the emphasis, especially that of the CEO and the chairman. But what is being highlighted here is that any enterprise starts off from the vision and dream, and then it goes on to being a roaring success. And then after becoming a roaring success, what happens next? The most difficult part is holding on to that success. And what has been highlighted here are the winning strategies in terms of our minds, in terms of our actions, our thoughts, our minds, our actions that drive us to be able to hold on to the successes we've made during our lifetime and for the generations that will come after us. So I'm sure everybody was engrossed in all the tips that we were given today by these experienced expertise. You could not have a better group of people here, I'm telling you. And they were all here in person and represented by high-level stakeholders. So you will see that this book, indeed, the book here, as the theme says, a roadmap for Nigeria, we have learned what it means to build to last and the winning strategies, a valuable contribution to the corporate capital markets. I'm hoping that after today, this book continues to extend this knowledge and inspiration and motivation to all of us here, those to come. I know I've even spoken to a few here. They're already motivated and inspired. Our collective efforts today will continue to inspire strategies, long-term value creation, and shape the future of our economy, driving growth, stability, and prosperity. I just also want to mention about holding on. We have a very solid back-end team referred to earlier as the management committee that always work very hard to ensure that we come out with very good work. And again, this is another tip. For any sustainability, you have those who are in front, and then you must have a good engine that is working behind, doing all the mundane tasks without needing to even have any visibility. It's very, very important. This back-end team, back-end strong management team. So to our guests and all those who are present, I do encourage you to engage with the publishers, with all the people from Pearl Awards. Not only that, to all our special guests here, our stakeholders, and to all other participants and those present here today, because being visible, communication is a very important part, we all know, in sustaining whatever we are holding. Let me just quickly end. As I said, it's no long speeches. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And I'm staying here that let us harness the insights and ideas that have been presented today and to act as a catalyst to produce and shape a brighter future and growth in productivity, in profitability, and spread it throughout the Nigerian economy. Nigeria built to last and prosper. Those are my last words. Nigeria built to last and prosper. Thanks for listening, and God bless Nigeria.
Nigeria built to last and prosper. Thank you so much. Please give a round of applause to Chief Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi for that closing remarks. Thank you so much. And yes, we're through, right? Please give yourselves a round of applause. Everyone, those that started with us, those that ended with us, those still here, thank you so much, everyone. But just before we go, we must thank you. And to give the vote of thanks, I would invite Pearl Awards CWC Chairman, Mr. Sam Emeholu. Hello. Sam, please, quickly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say thank you so much for the time you spent around. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for all your patience and every person that's contributed to making today a great day. Thanks so much, Mr. Awoyemi, for your beautiful class. It was a class we live to remember. I also want to use this medium to express great thanks to my team, the whole member of the CWC that made this happen. Thanks so much. I may not be able to mention all your names, but it's been a wonderful time with you. But more importantly, as we depart, I want us to carry this momentum forward in all that we've learned today at Build to Last. And let's translate these dialogues to action. I want to ask that everything that's been discussed here is meant for us to be able to translate our environment into an actionable movement, an actionable environment. Thank you so much. I believe together we are an architect of a legacy by being part of this event. Nigeria's future is built to last. Thank you so much, and may our shared vision flourish. Good afternoon, everybody.